Has won 12 tournament titles, including 6 of the last 11. Two of the best teams in college baseball going head-to-head with a chance to play for a trophy.
Just getting started, already fired up. Yeah, this party ain't nothing like it round here. Going down out here. Another double shot of crazy in a cup, and we're just getting warmed up.
Welcome to the SEC tournament from Hoover, Alabama, trying to find our final finalist on this semifinal Saturday. It's a hot one. Vandy and LSU, two hot teams. Commodores #1 seed, LSU the 5th seed, and they may be playing into a chance to host in the postseason. So here's what we have already. Another tight one. Ole Miss held off Georgia in our first game of the day. They look to defend their tournament championship against the winner of this one. That'll be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And with that, we welcome you back to the booth. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson. This has been an incredible week, and it just rolls on today.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you come into this tournament, you know you're going to see some of the best teams in the country. We got two more of them right now. One in LSU that's fighting to try to host. Another in Vanderbilt that is one of the best teams in the entire country, and they may have the best 1-2 punch in the nation. When you look at the top of this lineup, Austin Martin's been unbelievable. J.J. Blade has been unbelievable, and they do it a few different ways. Martin coming in slugging .624, the on-base percentage above 500. Blade leads the country in home runs with 25. I don't know how you can have a better 1-2 punch at the top than Martin and Blade. It's one of the reasons why Vanderbilt will be a top 8 national seed.
So there's a mystery to how you could have a better 1-2 punch. There's also a lot of mystery around this LSU team. How do they continue to win here in Hoover? 12 SEC tournament titles. Paul Mainieri has been a magician. It started with a 4-run comeback their first game against South Carolina. It just got weirder after that.
They just find ways to do it. They actually had a disheartening loss to Mississippi State in 17 innings, and you're wondering, can they pull it off again? But then against Auburn, they went on a 2-run wild pitch / E3, one of the most bizarre endings we have seen in this tournament ever. And you started to get that feeling, here comes LSU again. Then they run rule their rivals, Mississippi State, in a game very few people gave them a chance to even play in. So LSU just continues to do it, and Paul Mainieri has dominated this tournament, has a chance to be the first ever 7-time champ of this event.
Amazing. He couldn't get out of the Big East tournament with Notre Dame. Now it seems he can't lose the SEC tournament. Let's take you down the field for LSU's plan today. Here's Chris Budden.
Well, they'll get a couple more arms back today, but it didn't come without some convincing. When Paul Mainieri got back to the hotel yesterday, he got a text message from Eric Walker. Walker said, "Can we come to your door?" Paul's like, "Who's we?" So shows up, Walker, Matthew Back, Zach Hess, they all showed up and convinced him, said, "Coach, we want to be able to pitch today." So Mainieri looked at the innings. He said, "Well, okay, guys, if you think you can go." He said, "That's what I love to see out of my players. I want to play today, Coach."
Those are 3 of the 4 pitchers that threw in the 17-inning game. It also includes Mikael Hilliard, who may not have made a visit to his coach's door, but he is available to throw today. The bullpen has been absolutely sensational, but they'll go with the starter in this one, Devin Fontenot. 5-1 with a 3.79 ERA. The sophomore from the Woodlands, Texas, making his 25th appearance on the season. Just his 3rd start, 39 strikeouts in 40 innings.
Well, if you play on Tuesday here in Hoover and you make it all the way to Saturday, it means you've thrown a lot of arms out there, and that's what LSU has ultimately done to this point. Devin Fontenot, who was the closer for this club when Zach Hess was in the starting role, now pushes into a role that Zach Hess had a while ago. Fontenot's 3rd start of the year, and it's all fastball slider. Guys don't hit his slider much. You're going to see a lot more fastballs, above 80% fastball usage over the course of the year. Velocity can get into the mid-90s.
Here's a look at the starting lineup for Vanderbilt. #1 in the SEC in average, #1 in the SEC in home runs, slugging, on base, RBI. They do everything well, starting with the top 2. Martin and Blade, and Ethan Paul, a leader in the 3-hole.
If you don't want to pitch to those first 2, Ethan Paul can certainly make you pay.
So off we go. Second semifinal of the day. And the first pitch from Fontenot is 90. Over the inner third to Austin Martin. Came into this week, second best batting average in college baseball. It's at .423 now, with a half dozen home runs and 15 bags. First team all conference, 25-game reach base streak, average now 5th in the country. Only 9 times this year has Austin Martin been held without a hit. 9 times in 57 games.
They just don't give you much time to settle in, KP. It's right out of the gate with, as you said in the open, 2 of the best hitters in America, and you better come out of that bullpen sharp.
Vandy came into the tournament hitting .302 in the tournament, just .214, but that doesn't mean they don't have weapons. Last season, a thriller, but they lost in 3 games to Mississippi State in the Supers. They came in ranked number 2 in the preseason. They have lived up to that ranking all year long. They won 7 of their last 8 SEC series. The offense is almost unstoppable, and they come in to this game having won 19 of their last 20. J.J. Bleday, the nation's home run leader at the plate. Vandy opened with a run rule victory over Auburn on Wednesday. Snuck by Mississippi State Thursday, and J.J. Bleday went 5 for 5 with Derek Jeter watching from the suites in his first game.
Berkey, you've seen plenty of him for the last 2 years and now this year. What's different this year with Bleday than what you saw the past 2?
Well, we've gotten to see a full run from him, but to me what I see is the ball going out the other way. And as you watch hitters develop and you start to project, can they really do it at the next level? You want to know, can they hit the ball out the other way? Can they take a walk when they need to? But I think what impresses me most about Bleday is he is up there with the intent to drive the ball, but knows how to hit with 2 strikes as well. So what you'll see from him is really aggressive early in the count, but he can battle in and give you a quality AB if he falls behind.
That was the case in his 5 for 5 game. 4 of his 5 hits went the opposite way against Auburn.
I did a series this year against Alabama where he had a hanging breaking ball out down the right field line. He had an elevated 0-2 fastball out just right of center, and then he hit a 2-seamer down and away out to straightaway left.
Did you see his game the other day, the 5-hit game?
Yeah.
At least 2 of those hits, maybe 3 were against left-handers, and it was the same thing. They were all over the ballpark.
Fontenot dispatched Martin. The 3-2 to Bleday, and that one will find a hole. One out single for J.J. Bleday. Surprised they didn't shift him?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I mean, I just look, he can hit the ball the other way in the air, but you're not going to see a ton of backside ground balls from J.J. Bleday. This one won't be a hit at the next level, folks. That'll be right to a second baseman. LSU elects not to play the shift. J.J. Bleday takes advantage of it with a hard grounder through the right side.
5'10" senior Ethan Paul from Bellevue, Washington, psychology major. And the 22-year-old has held down the shortstop position after originally playing as a youngster here at Vandy at second base, 1-0. '26th round pick of the Pirates last year. Turned him down to come back. Slice down the line, foul. Nice catch on the hill. And Bleday will return to first.
You know, as much shine as Austin Martin and J.J. Bleday have gotten, Ethan Paul you could make a pretty good case that he's been their MVP. Who was going to play shortstop? That was a big storyline in the offseason for Vanderbilt. Who's going to take over that position? The fact that Ethan Paul has moved from second base to shortstop and played it at such a high level, just 6 errors entering the game, not to mention the work he's done driving in runs. He has been such a big piece of the Vanderbilt story this season.
One of 14 shortstops named as a semifinalist for the Brooks Wallace Award.
I will admit, I was a doubter. When I heard he had won the job, I thought, I don't know if that lasts all year. But he has been fantastic defensively, and not just making the routine play. He's shown some range and some arm strength as well.
Right side, pounded into the dirt. They'll go to second for one. Back to first. Got it. And the LSU faithful to their feet early. Hal Hughes to Josh Smith to Cade Beloso.
Boy, this is not an easy play, folks. You got to get your feet turned around. Watch Hughes. Watch him get his feet turned around and give his man an accurate feed. Josh Smith with plenty of arm to finish it off. Nice double play by the Tigers.
Well, interesting starter for Vanderbilt. They've got quite the 1-2 punch in Kumar Rocker. Wears a wide receiver's number. He's got a football background. And the freshman from Athens, Georgia, has a big build. 6'4", 255. As he makes his 12th start of this season. 7-5, 4.32 ERA, still developing as a young pitcher.
I'm looking forward to this one. Kumar Rocker is a name that we didn't think we'd see at the college level. We saw JT Ginn yesterday, first rounder that made his way to college. Kumar Rocker's name was mentioned in that too. Fastball into the mid-90s, throws that fastball about 60% of the time. Curveball and a changeup used sparingly. Opponents do not hit that curveball, though, hitting below 241 strikeouts on the year for Rocker.
LSU with a change today. Brant Broussard, who left yesterday's game with an elbow injury, is not in there. Instead, Hal Hughes, you saw start that double play, will be at second, batting ninth. Josh Smith's having a great tournament, 8 for 21 with a big leadoff home run a couple of games ago. And Smith sends this one into center. Pat DeMarco is there for Vandy, one down. Kumar Rocker's dad, Tracy, played college football at Auburn. He was the first SEC player to win both the Lombardi Award and the Outland Trophy. He's now on Jeremy Pruitt's staff at Tennessee. Rocker prepped at North Oconee High School just outside of Athens, Georgia, where he was an Under Armour All-American, Gatorade Georgia Player of the Year. Here's Giovanni DiGiacomo. A funky delivery at 95.
I think it speaks to the power of the programs in this conference. You got Gunnar Hoagland, JT Ginn, and Kumar Rocker all pitching in this league, all of which could have been millionaires but turned it down to come pitch in this league. Pretty cool to see in this tournament how many kids turn down money to come play in the SEC.
Have you pulled Tracy Rocker aside to talk to him about Tennessee football yet?
Yeah, I coached him up a little bit.
He was asked. He was asked earlier about having to give up his football career to focus on baseball. And hey, didn't you want to play football for your dad? No. I've seen how he coaches. We don't have that intensity on the diamond. Shakes off Philip Clark a couple of times.
2-2. Yeah, every once in a while you turn on the tube and watch a basketball game and think, that dude kind of looks like a football player. You don't say it a ton on the baseball field, specifically with a pitcher, but
that guy looks like a football player. Tell you what else he looks like is an ace. I mean, this is real stuff from Kumar Rocker. Fastball's been up to 96 already. Here's a slider. Straight top to bottom. DiGiacomo swings over the top of it. Threw a changeup earlier in this at bat, then finishes DiGiacomo with a slider. First strikeout of the day for Kumar Rocker.
It brings Antoine Duplantis to the plate. Senior from Lafayette, Louisiana. 5 for 19. over the course of this week, and now third in SEC history in hits. What a jump in the power department.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive. The body really hasn't changed. I mean, he's been lean and athletic from the day he stepped on campus. Certainly has gained some strength as he's launching balls to the tune of 11 this year. One thing he has always done is had a knack for a big hit, and he could always drive in runs. Another season where he's driven in 60+.
One-two pitch. LSU's bullpen was helped out a little bit with their run rule victory yesterday, 12-2 against Mississippi State. Saved them the final 6 outs. Down the right field line, that is a fair ball by inches. Duplantis on his way to second. That looked like the same hit that gave Jake Mangum the SEC hit record.
Well, you don't get 350 hits without hitting some tough pitches, and that one right there was up and in, but he muscles it just inside the right field line. This is actually a really tough pitch to hit. Watch this ball run just on the inside corner, but the ability to contract those arms and get enough of the bat, not flip it sideways, but keep the barrel square and dump it into right field. Looks like a bullet off the wall in the scorebook.
Yeah, it counts. I mean, that's a double any way you look at it. And after Rocker had made that same pitch and Duplantis took earlier in the at-bat, that time tried to go right back to it. He got enough of it for a 2-out double.
This is Cade Beloso. 5 hits for the 5 seed this week. He's driven in 8 over his last 7 games.
Speaking of football bodies. This young man doesn't look like a freshman. Tigers are into it early, KP.
They usually are.
Beloso 6 feet, 227 pounds. Breaking ball for a strike. Duplantis with a 2-out double down the line.
And if you're LSU, you like it. Get the big fella working out of the stretch, throwing some high-stress pitches early in this ball game. It's hot out there. You definitely want to make him labor with long innings as often as you can.
Shift for Beloso. Ray playing short right field. Off the handle.
That's that position we were talking about that I expected them to play against J.J. Bleday. Second baseman way over here. Right there he is.
Look at that. Nice work.
Who wants it, Ray or Paul? The shortstop will take it. Kumar Rocker works his way around a double. His dad, Tracy, one of the top 3 defensive line coaches in all of college football, watching from the stands. This is the SEC tournament, and there is nothing like it in the world. Hotel rooms on wheels, a part of the RV park, some of the best food you'll ever have, and a fan fest to keep you cool if the heat gets to be too much. We're going to take Chris Burke to the splash pad later, because here it just means more. It's the SEC tournament 24th season in Hoover, Alabama. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, and Chris Budden, our fantastic crew. Shout out to those guys and gals who've been working their tails off all week. It is mid-90s in the ballpark today. And our cameraman And audio guys outside getting it done and back in the trucks, thank you for all of your hard work.
No doubt. Long week. Excellent crew.
Into center field off the bat of Philip Clark. Zach Watson has it. One down. So one down here, Stephen Scott. What's your highlight so far, Berkey, this week?
I'm going to say the 2-run walk-off wild pitch.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
It just because it falls in the category of things you've never seen before.
Well, it's happened before. Drew Bianco said it happened in high school. His brother was at the plate and he scored from second on a wild pitch.
I felt bad for Scheffler.
He blocked it right where he needed to.
And he didn't see it.
Yeah.
Usually that one you got a pretty good idea of where it ended up, and then he kicked it, and they throw it away. Just a crazy way to end the ball game.
Matt Scheffler, the Auburn catcher, by the way, missed the game before with a thumb injury. Here it is.
The ball's right in front of him, and he doesn't know it, and then he kicks it. And Rankawoli just trying to make a play. He throws it away, and that's about as bad a way to lose a ball game as you can come up with. But not surprising coming from LSU. How about you?
The 17-inning game, I thought it would be hard to forget, but I've forgotten most of it already.
So just the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay.
It's been close. 13 of the 15 games decided by 2 runs or less. And the attendance has been absolutely awesome. Coming into today, it was already the 4th most attended tournament in history, and that was with 3 games to go.
It was over 14,000 yesterday.
I would like to point out, by the way, that Derek Jeter was in the ballpark a few days ago. His Marlins averaged 9,793.
I think those numbers will be used in recruiting a little bit by some SEC coaches.
Again and again.
And again.
I'm not sure, but that 14,000 might be more than the bottom 2 or 3 teams in Major League Baseball. City of Hoover does a fantastic job welcoming us and the fans every year. And they treat the players and teams like kings, so that's good too. Stephen Scott looking at a 2-2 count. Senior from Cary, North Carolina.
Stephen Scott's got a knack for finishing strong. Last year he got red hot, ended up with 15 homers. This year another blazing hot finish. So 5 ribbies in game 1 of this tournament from him.
Handcuffed Garza. Scott reaches on a 1-out walk. And so here's Pat DeMarco. DeMarco awfully productive lately. 4 multi-hit games over his last 7. Missed some time from March to April with a hamstring injury. He came up with some huge hits for Vanderbilt in the postseason last year.
It really has been a jolt to this club. A big reason why they were so dominant down the stretch. I was there the first day he was back at Bama. Hit a 3-run homer in his first AB back after a long absence. They needed another hitter, you know?
Yeah, it's just kind of a light lineup without him.
Yeah. Well, Cooper Davis had been playing center field in his absence, and it's interesting, really, right as DeMarco came back, Cooper Davis goes down with a hip, and DeMarco has taken over that job again and has not looked back.
Only 1 at bat for Davis since April 16th. Veloso had to reach for it.
Always felt like getting DeMarco back was bigger than the impact of his numbers too. He adds a little bit of an edge to this club.
Yeah, get that Staten Island swagger.
I think it was really important for them to get him back. Not surprising that he's playing so well here down the stretch.
Reed backs up at third. Here's the 1-1. Oh my gosh. We'll get your heart rate up, huh?
How do you catch that?
I don't know. I don't know. It almost hits a bat, too. Watch the bat go up for DeMarco. He's just trying to do anything he can to get out of the way. I think you run here. And I think you start challenging Saul Garza and LSU right now. Garza has had a hard time throwing guys out this year. I know Scott doesn't run a ton, but
an obvious weakness to this LSU team has been the play behind the plate, especially against the running game. But Saul Garza has really picked it up the last couple of games.
Yeah, he's looking better, and the bat is definitely looking better. I mean, that's the reason Garza's in there. The averages come all the way up. He comes into today hitting just south of 280, 5 home runs. It's still fairly limited action. He's been the regular guy for the last few weeks, but I would agree, defensively, he's looked a lot better.
And I don't think it's an accident that the two of those have kind of coincided, right?
Makes sense.
As he started swinging the bat better. And let's not forget, first-year player, right, who coming off a knee injury in the offseason. And there's a lot of things that we can't begin to imagine about playing at LSU as a incoming player. There's a lot of pressure on these kids to perform. But as the season's gone on, he has certainly looked more and more comfortable. And there's some people around this LSU program will say he's been their best player the last month or so.
You never know where confidence is going to come from, right?
Yeah, a lot of times it comes from success. A little bit of success. Now I feel pretty good about myself again.
Poke through the right side off the bat of DeMarco, and Vandy in business with 2 on and 1 out. By the way, if you watched the first semifinal, you may have seen Ole Miss's Tyler Keenan helped up the field. Mike Bianco said he went to the emergency room for dehydration, got a couple of bags of fluids, should be fine.
This at bat from DeMarco. 6-pitch AB ends in a backside bullet in the 4-hole, and that's just a perfect example, KB, of a hitter shortening up. You can tell he'd been late on the fastball, guarding against the breaking ball, and
fouled a few tough ones off.
"31 pitches already for Devin Fontenot. Seven-hole hitter, Duvall 273 average.
we got a little fight going on between the Tigers and the Whistler right now.
I was kind of hoping that ball would find the whistle.
The LSU Tiger fan base does not want to be outdone by the Vandy Whistler. This will be entertaining. There he goes.
Pretty sure I saw that face in a Baton Rouge post office. By the way, that's the worst seat in the house, the guy in the blue shirt right in front of him. Pitch through the left side. Here's Scott around third. And Ty Duvall has given Vandy the lead. The throw got away from Reed, and it goes into the dugout. Another run will score. Duvall with an RBI single. He'll advance all the way to third.
That's back-to-back to where Vandy has taken a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and shot it the other way. This time it's Ty Duvall. So the throw from Cabrera is going to come into third. Not a terrible throw. Fondo's got to be somewhere. I mean, when you're on the mound, the minute this ball gets through, you have one job, and that's to go back up somewhere. And in a play like this, you're trying to get midway between home and third based on where the throw comes in. But you got to be back there. You got one job when the ball goes to the outfield when there's a guy standing on second base. Once you give up the hit, you got to be in some position to where you can back it up because the pitcher's the only one that can get there.
And I will say what makes this offense so tough to face is we come in always talking about Martin and Blade, but the ability to hurt you at the bottom of the order, to Marco, Duvall, quality at bats, moving the baseball to the backside of the field, there is just no place to hide in this Vanderbilt order.
I mean, this is when the throw's coming in. And that just there's no reason to be in the middle of the field at that point. And I mean, it doesn't feel good to give up the hit. And I remember, I mean, there's times where you're mad, but you got to be mad in foul territory. You got to be mad in the spot to where you can back it up because that one cost him another run.
Here's Harrison Ray. And he smokes one past the drawn-in infield. Duvall will trot home. Vandy's got an early lead, 3-zip in the second.
It's impressive. That's 3 in a row, KP. 3 in a row for this Vanderbilt offense. Devin Fontenot got plenty on the baseball, but you're looking at some Vanderbilt hitters that are really showing you what it means to not try to do too much. 3 straight backside base hits.
Senior Julian Infante in the 9-hole. Already, LSU will populate the bullpen.
Will Rapole running down there right now. He may be the only one on the active roster that hadn't pitched yet.
Yeah. You heard the story before. A trio of LSU pitchers knocked on Palminary's hotel room door saying they wanted to throw today. Those 3 guys all pitched in the 17-inning game. Eric Walker started. Then Matthew Beck and Zach Hess. Runner goes. Throw to second will come in on a hop. It'll get into center field, but no advancement for Ray.
'17 stolen base here, and they picked the right one to go on. You knew Ray wasn't going to stand there very long, but ends up going on a pitch that was a breaking ball, so it's a little bit longer to get to Garza. Short hop there, even with a perfect throw. You're not going to throw Ray out. Now 17-20 on the year in stolen bases.
Nothing in 2 to Infante. $18 strikeouts in his last 12 games. Fontenot needs this out. The 0-2 got him swinging. Second strikeout for Fontenot. But in between those 2 Ks, Vandy already with 3 runs on 4 hits in this game.
And that's a big one right there as they flip this order and Austin Martin gets his second crack in the second inning at Fontenot. Punched out in his first AB, and you wonder if Fontenot 3 days rest after throwing 60-plus pitches on Tuesday. I don't know how many he has in the tank, but these are stressful early game offerings here for the LSU right-hander.
Spins in a strike to Austin Martin, who struck out swinging his first time up. First team all conference. He's reached base safely in 25 consecutive games. Last year, a freshman All-American.
And just watching him play all year long, I think what's so impressive, he always seems to be on time. Fastball, breaking ball, changeup. Very rarely do you see him chase, and very rarely do you see him get disconnected.
He's a Golden Spike semifinalist, Dick Hauser Trophy semifinalist, and he's hitting .390 against ranked teams this season. Well hit to the gap in right center field. Duplantis tracked it down. Actually almost overran it. Caught it on his shoulder. But 3 runs across for Vandy at the top of the second. So here's LSU, 12 tournament titles in their history, and a team that would rather be at home. They lost in Corvallis last season in the NCAA tournament. They got swept by Texas earlier this year. Doesn't look good once you take into account their resume, but got off to a good start in the conference. They've been ranked every week in the top 25, but from 1st to 20th, and it's been that kind of season for LSU. It had a hard time getting everybody healthy and figuring out exactly what they wanted to do with their rotation.
Yeah, you're looking at really tale of 2 different seasons. 1 and 2 to start the year between these 2 programs, but it's been a very different road that leads them here to the semifinals of the SEC tournament. Vanderbilt, for the most part, has stayed healthy. Their best arms have pitched maybe even above expectations when you look at what Fellows and Raby and Rocker have done. And then, of course, the offense has been lights out all year long. LSU, on the other hand, more injuries than you could possibly imagine, and maybe an offense that's underperformed a little bit.
I think the offense has been okay. I mean, if you just have somewhat consistent arms on the weekend, which LSU just hasn't had. I mean, Zach Hess starts the season as your ace, now he's your closer, which I think is the right place for Zach Hess. You had 3 freshmen in Marceau, Cole Henry, and Jaden Hill that you thought really could be your weekend rotation right now. Henry's just coming back. Hill not active this weekend. Marceau's been very good. But still, with all of that, projected by D1Baseball.com to be the number 4 national seed, which would mean they would host at Alec Box.
Number 14, sorry.
What did I say?
You said 4.
14. You went too early. I was going to say.
Okay, sorry.
Which I think is somewhat a testament to their offense, really, because they've had to hit. And it's not Vanderbilt offensive numbers, but they're still pretty good.
They had a lot to play for when they came to Hoover, and they have accomplished their goal, it seems. Although they still want to take home the trophy, getting in position to be a host. 0-2 to Zach Watson. To short, Ethan Paul. Boy, he had to hurry. Zach Watson beats it out. Ethan Paul's confident he got him. He's asking Tim Corbin to challenge that one. You be the judge?
Watson giving you a hard 90 right here, and he got him.
He's out. He's out, but let's go real time. Let's see what we got here, Berkey.
3.84 on the swing right there by Zach Watson. That's getting down the line. Always going to be faster when you're moving on the breaking ball. KP got him on the stopwatch up here at 3.84.
That is flying.
I think Ethan Paul's correct. I think he got him by a whisker.
I think he got him too, but I mean, what is that, a 2-hopper to short with a right-handed hitter?
Yeah, anything under 4 is flying. You get in the mid 3/8s and you are moving. And that's
ball's in the back of the glove.
Yeah.
He's out, but still, it's fun to watch him run. It's really fun to watch him run if he's going 1st to 3rd.
Confirmed. I should say overturned, pardon me.
Well, you see him reaching for a breaking ball, and you get a head start. But credit Ethan Paul. Internal clock just good enough to get that ball across the diamond in time.
It's between a 3.85 and a 3.9 down the line.
You got to check your stopwatch skills, but it was fast.
What did you have it at?
Well, you gave
at least I brought one.
1/10 of a second off. I mean, let's clean it up.
Up the middle. Rocker's got it. A 1-2-3 frame in the inning after Vandy played at 3.
Welcome back. I'm joined with LSU coach Paul Mainieri. Coach, we saw the bats come alive yesterday. What do you guys need to do to stress Rocker?
Ooh, he's good. You know, he's got a good arm and he's got a nice breaking pitch. He mixes his pitches well. We just got to go up there and keep competing. You know, you generally are a slow starting team offensively. So the key is we got to stay in the game. You know, they got the 3 runs there in the second inning. You know, I thought Devin was really competing hard. He just couldn't get his slider over, so he was a one-pitch pitcher.
Why put up Walker now instead of Fontenot?
Well, we got to try to change speeds a little bit and see if we can get him off balance a little bit. You know, like I said, Devin he couldn't get his slider over, and they were just sitting on his fastball. He competed as hard as he could, but maybe Eric could keep him off balance a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Eric Walker enters the game for LSU. Got the start in the Mississippi State 17-inning game. What role does Eric Walker fill going forward for LSU into the postseason?
I don't know. I mean, game 3 starter. I mean, you got to think Landon Marceau's going to start. Cole Henry's going to start. So potential game 3 starter. He could be long reliever if you needed him to.
Today might help define that for them.
Could. But I think you've got to go Marceau and Henry game 1 and game 2. And whatever, you can figure out whatever order. But I think those are the 2 you go 1 and 2.
So he threw 80 pitches on Wednesday. Back on, I guess would be his bullpen day, depending.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine they expect much depth out of this performance from Walker. J.J. Bleday tied up inside with a fastball. Congratulations to the Mavericks of Omaha. They beat Oral Roberts to win the Summit today. Mavericks going to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. Moved to D1 in 2012.
My neighbor, Joey Machado, is going to play in a postseason. I love it. The Fighting Trev Albertses.
Yeah. Good friend to AD there. Here's who's in. UCLA won the Pac-12 regular season. No tournament there. Today, UIC, Campbell, Stony Brook, and Omaha are in.
How about that? Remember that run.
You're not the only one. LSU fans just cursed at the screen.
Oh, yes. They went through Baton Rouge, didn't they?
2-2 to Bleday, the nation's home run leader.
Yeah, not a ton of programs can say that, but Stony Brook can. They went through Baton Rouge.
21 of 25 times that LSU was hosted a regional, they have advanced.
Stony Brook beat Binghamton to win the America East.
Say that again really fast.
Sorry. Stony Brook beat Binghamton.
Better the second time.
Yeah, thanks. You're always better at second guy off the tee, right?
Uh-oh.
Wow, that one's way off the tee. He stripes it to right and into the pen. J.J. Bleday leads the nation in home runs.
Walker was able to get ahead, but just couldn't put him away. And J.J. Bleday, as we said earlier, has just shown the ability to be on everything. There's a rolling breaking ball right into the sweet spot of that J.J. Bleday bat path. And watch him load up here and drop the head on a hanging breaking ball. Beautiful extension, and you got to love the classic home run hitter follow through right there.
There's a lot of classic in that swing right now. It is fun to watch.
Griffey-like almost in that follow-through right there.
SEC Player of the Year. Will be one of the first names called in the draft next week.
And I like the philosophy by Pulmonary. Hey, they're all over our fastball. Let's go to a guy maybe that's more of a change of speed, somebody that can pull the string and maybe get them off balance. But again, showing you the talent of this Vanderbilt offense. They can hit velo. They can be patient and wait out an AB. There's some versatility in this lineup for sure.
Down the line, fair. Past Beloso. Paul motors to second. Duplantis has trouble in the corner. Paul will stop at second. They had a chance for a triple if he wanted it and regrets his decision to lay off the throttle.
Changeup, it looked like Ethan Paul rolls it and roll over. Got enough of it. It just hits it right down the line. This ball just over the top of the bag, and Duplantis gets there in plenty of time, just can't really field it. I mean, peak once, peak twice.
You got to pick your third base coach
Problem is,
up.
then he peaked down after that. If he picks up Tim Corbin right there, he's standing at third base. Instead, it's a one-out double. So, home run double so far since Eric Walker's come into the game for LSU.
Philip Clark flew out to center field his first time up. First team all-conference player out of Franklin, Tennessee. Feels like a slippery slope for LSU.
Yeah, it does. This is a Vanderbilt team that is rested, and
it's an LSU bullpen that isn't.
That is not.
And that's a rough combo today. I think they've already done what they needed to do here, though.
Yeah.
Little chopper. Walker freezes the runner at second and takes it to first.
That's what Pulmonary was hoping for there, just to get some of these Vanderbilt hitters off the barrel. Nice change up there from Walker. Produces a cue ball there from Philip Clark. And because Ethan Paul's not standing on third, he's got a chance to maybe wiggle out of this one without any more damage. Much easier with the guy on second than it would be with a guy standing on third.
Steven Scott walked and scored in the second. Winner gets Ole Miss. Rebels back in the championship game after winning it last year. LSU needs to come from behind to mark the second championship game rematch in tournament history. Walker's 0-1 pitch to Scott.
Scott just looks scary right now. I mean, you're talking about a guy that would be hitting third or fourth for almost everybody. Hits fifth in this lineup. 340, 11 homers, 50 ribeyes, and again comes into this tournament clicking on all cylinders. Just one of those guys that gets to feast on all the opportunities produced by the high on base percentage of the middle of this order. 11 for his last 19 with 5 homers and 13 ribbies. That's hot.
I think that's a ball, but that's a place that Walker has to go. Even though the fastball is 85, 86, he's still got to be able to establish the inside part of the plate, and he usually does. He's not afraid to pitch in, even though it's not a mid-90s fastball. That one just off the plate, but I like the idea.
This one will find the seats on the left side.
Well, you can't be a change-up breaking ball guy without pitching in. I mean, eventually you got to rush them and speed them up if you're ever going to fool them with the off-speed stuff. And Eric Walker, when he's good, he will pitch in as well as anybody, even though it's only 85, 86. We're used to seeing that MO kind of from soft toss and lefties, but Walker executes it from the right side. Daylight play right there by Josh Smith. You see him sneak in, and anytime you show the pitcher your glove, that means he's supposed to throw. If not, you're going to get caught out of position. Nice job there by Walker, spinning and throwing it accurately. Made that play closer than it looked like it was going to be.
That was a big one. 2 down. First strikeout for Walker. This Wednesday, don't miss SEC Inside. It's an all-access pass to this tournament with never-before-seen footage and sounds from the semis and tomorrow's championship game. Those guys do a sensational job. Extra cameras and microphones set up to get all the sounds on the field. It's SEC Inside, May 29th, 7 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network, and also streaming live on the ESPN app. 2 down for Pat DeMarco. What do you think would surprise fans about baseball chatter? What's actually being talked about on the field?
Probably how much is going on with the communication between pitch to pitch, especially with the middle infielders. Who's got coverage, what pitch is coming, how that changes throughout the course of the at-bat.
DeMarco launches it down the left field line. Into the corner. It is foul. Groundskeepers are working hard all week, and now they're dropping bombs on their heads.
He was out front of that one, too.
Oh, yeah. A little front zone length right there from Pat DeMarco, just kind of holding on to the barrel. Almost kept it fair.
What does front zone length mean?
Well, you got the front part of the hitting zone, which is usually where you see hitters roll their wrists and hit the top of the ball, but when you're keeping that barrel in the zone, you're holding that barrel square through the zone, you're able to hit the ball in the air or on a line even when you're fooled. And so, you know, the mark of every good swing, get the bat to the zone and keep it there. You'll see some guys get it there and then flip it. But the guys that are really tough to pitch to is they can get the bat on plane early and keep it there for a long period of time.
Ball and a strike to DeMarco after launching one just foul.
And that's one of the things that's tough about facing a pitcher like this is he'll challenge your ability to keep the barrel square when you're early because you're constantly fighting being early on a guy like Walker, and he relies on you flipping that barrel and getting a bunch of ground balls to the pull side. He's trying to let those guys play ball. He wants ground balls.
So how do you do that? Do you slow down your swing?
You try your best to keep that lead wrist square. As soon as it flips, you're done, right? And that's why you'll see a lot of guys when they're early, they'll release the top hand because that right hand usually throws the barrel over the top. And you'll see so many guys when they're fooled go down to their back knee and release the top hand just in an attempt to not let that barrel come over the top.
Two on with two out.
Here you go, Tommy. Let's talk a little front zone length right here. I know this ended up in a foul ball, but you'll see DeMarco right here. Watch him go down, and he'll release this top hand to try to keep that barrel from rolling. See that top hand come off late? That lets you know that he's trying hard to not be over-aggressive and roll it over.
How about this now, especially with the lineup? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left-handers in there for Vanderbilt today. LSU hasn't thrown a pitch from the left side the entire season. They don't have a left-hander that's thrown a pitch all year. So, I mean, you get a lineup like this that is so left-handed heavy, and it's tough to match up.
Chance for Cabrera if he can get there, hustling into foul territory, and will come up just a stride or two short. Blade, Paul, Clark, Scott, Duvall all bat from the left side.
We got some teams in this league that feature a ton of left-handers, and we've seen Vanderbilt. Auburn comes to mind. Auburn,
A&M.
They've beaten Auburn 4 times, even though Auburn has a bunch of lefties. Now, A&M did beat them 2 out of 3. Even though Vandy scored a bunch of runs, it was more because their bullpen cost them the game, and Texas A&M really swung the bat well. That was the opening weekend of conference play, but yeah, it stands to reason that if you're going to give Vanderbilt a hard time on the mound, that you need some left-handers to do it.
Not sure anybody gives him a hard time, really.
Yeah.
Duvall looks at a strike.
TJ Sycamore beat him at Nashville in a game 2 a few weeks back, but then they bounced right back and beat Zach Thompson. I mean, they've shown the ability to beat tough left-handers.
It was a big win for Missouri, one of only 5 home losses for Vandy this year. The Missouri team that's on the bubble. Caught a piece of it. Feel like this is a huge at bat in this game.
Well, yeah, for sure for LSU. You're Paul Maneri say we just got to keep it close. Slow starters on offense and see if we can get it going later on. But one swing right here, and this thing could get out of hand in a hurry.
Deuce is wild, 2 on, 2 out. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ty Duvall.
You feel like the pitch that he needs to go to is the one he got Scott with, which is just climbing the ladder with the fastball. We haven't seen a ton of uncomfortable swings at the changeup. Of course, Blade launched the breaking ball. Feels like his best chance to get a swing and miss right here is to climb the ladder, go back up and in.
Full count.
It's not a lot of panic in this Vanderbilt lineup. Just a bunch of guys that know who they are and know who you are, and they always seem prepared for their at-bats.
The payoff hit him. Bases will be loaded for Harrison Ray, and Paul Mainieri is going to have to make another visit to the mound.
Well, we get the Vandy Whistler in the middle of it here. Wow.
It's the only thing that's gone right for LSU so far.
Man.
It might be more interesting than what's happening on the
A little
field.
action going on.
Holy cow.
It's going to be loud. You better have the right ticket. Seems like we got an issue, and Hoover's finest will be eating for free in the parking lot if they pull this one off. LSU going back to the bullpen. Eric Walker only recorded one out.
Will Rapole on right now for LSU. 13 strikeouts in 13 and 2/3 inning. And we talked about just the challenges today for LSU, having to play an extra game. Bullpen that's depleted anyway. Well, 2 extra games, I guess, in Vandy has at this point. Bullpen that's already depleted, and one of the best offenses in the country. It's just a tall task to slow down Vandy today.
Two 2-0 to Harrison Ray. Ray's homer twice this season. He's got the bases loaded and 2 down. And Vandy's already dipped into the LSU pen.
The one thing he has proven all year long is Harrison Ray can hit a fastball. Dead red count right here.
3-0.
You want that one if you're an LSU Tiger. Pretty good pitch right there. Just misses down and away.
The Whistler got a stay of execution.
On his back. He's right back at it. Back in the saddle.
To Ray. Ball 4. Walking in the run. Vandy's up 5-zip. Julian Infante is the 8th batter of the inning for Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if they had much on him coming into this outing, but it's obvious that that's his pitch. That breaking ball, first couple pitches to Ray where he just missed with it. He wants to throw that breaking ball. First one, nice tight, get me over breaking ball there to start this AB.
Days since Will Rapole threw midweek against New Orleans. Only 3 SEC appearances this year. Tigers need an out. 2-2. Infante struck out with a runner on in the second after Vandy had already put 3 across, and now they've got 2 home but 2 out.
Maybe a little overamped right there. Looked early on a fastball. Of course, his last at bat was off Devin Fontenot, throwing about 10 miles an hour harder than Rapol, certainly 7 or 8.
Belted deep left field.
Didn't get him.
Cabrera will camp underneath it. LSU gets out of the inning. And in another victory for LSU, he's out of here. A lot of action in the stands, maybe even more so than on the field, and another reprieve won by the loudest whistler in baseball history. Tried to move around the stadium. He is still inside the stadium for a reason why. Here's Chris.
So here's the situation. An LSU fan came, sat in his seat next to him, started egging him on. And then it came clear that Jeff, the Vandy Whistler, his tickets were not for those seats. Those are assigned seats versus the general admission in the bleachers. So they came down, told him he had to move into the bleachers.
Line drive base hit for Saul Garza. Second hit of the game for LSU, and it'll bring Hal Hughes to the plate in the 9-hole. From a baseball perspective, LSU's hanging on by a thread right now.
I would agree. I would agree. And they're going to have to score a bunch today if they're going to have a chance, because it feels like Vandy's just going to keep on coming today.
Well, they flipped it on JT Ginn in the third. Let's see if leadoff hit by Garza means the same here this afternoon.
Hughes hitting 188, sophomore from Norman, Oklahoma. Coach's son was the shortstop last year. He has shown great defensive versatility this season for LSU. Drops a bunt. Charging is Martin. Bare hand throws.
Oh,
wow, what a play.
Tell you what, man, he's been doing it all year with the bat, but as the season's gone on, the glove has continued to improve, and he was not playing in, but so much athleticism, the arm strength, and I think they got him.
He's out. What a play.
Austin Martin, bare
Watch how
hand.
far he's got to go, Berkey. Show that look in a minute. He's out. Watch how far he's got to go.
Yeah, he's not playing in.
He's playing behind a bag.
A beautiful bunt from Hal Hughes, but that's just shows you how fast Austin Martin is. And you get one shot at this ball, folks. It's a bare hand. And
he's 3 steps behind the bag.
Gosh, we've spent all this time talking about the great pitchers that will be headed out of the SEC into the draft next season. Where's this guy going to go?
He's got to be early.
It's got to be real early. Yeah. I mean, you got 2 Martins. Austin Martin, Casey Martin, that both are going to go early. Look at that.
You're not supposed to be able to throw out somebody can run from there. I mean, that's why Hal Hughes drops down the bunt. That should be a green light special. And he ends up getting thrown out by half a step because Austin Martin just that athletic.
What's the most difficult part about that play?
The grip, right? It's one thing to corral the ball with your hand, but it's a whole nother deal to be able to get it in a position to throw it accurately. Sometimes you'll see a guy get it, but then he throws a change-up or he throws one into the seat. So not only do you have to field it, but then make a strong throw on the money. And you know if you run it up the line at all, it runs your first baseman right into the base runner. So many things can go wrong.
If you're making that throw on the run, do you account for the tailing?
Well, I tell you what, usually you'll see a guy when they go to the ground, they throw that ball from a lower arm slot. But Austin Martin was able to get that ball over the top, and so that ball really held true. But yes, most of the time you practice throwing kind of that left to right fade. And we always tell guys, aim for the outfield side of the base to account for the tailing action. But that one was true.
Ooh. Rocketed down the right field line, and that one is foul. Off the bat of Josh Smith, who put one into the trees a couple of days ago.
Now watch here as he goes down, and one of the things you'll notice here, let's see if he goes. So it's a 2-finger grip that he gets on the run, and then you see the release point's above the shoulder. And so he goes down with his whole hand and then switches it on his way up and still gets over the top quickly enough to record that out. Ball.
Full count to Josh Smith. DJ Derrick wins again. Little LL. Going back to Cali.
Old DJ Derrick. That's your guy.
I'm so thrilled with him.
You got Tom Hart's full endorsement this week. It's not easy to do.
No. Oh, I'm a tough judge.
You get that.
Kumar Rocker has allowed 2 hits. One was a bloop double by Antoine Duplantis. And then the Saul Garza single. He's now at second base after that Hughes ground out. Here's Steven Scott. See a lot of big leaguers that throw with that stiff front leg
on the mound.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the guys that throw the hardest will. Yeah, I mean, it's thought on this has changed, I would say, over the last 5 to 10 years from a velocity standpoint. But if what you're trying to do is you're trying to send energy back up your body, all right? It's no different than if you hit. So if that front leg lands a little bit bent, but then locks out right upon release, all of the energy is going back up through your body into your arm. And that's one of the reasons why Rocker has the ability to throw that ball so hard. Is it's you see the guys that throw the hardest do that, land a little bit bent and then lock it out at release. There's a somewhat of a similar idea from a hitting standpoint. You're trying to send energy back up your body to your hands.
DeGiacomo struck out in the first, went down swinging.
I think one of the things so impressive about Kumar Rocker is where he can land that breaking ball with ease. I mean, it's like he can flip it in there anytime he wants to.
Both sides of the plate, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost uses it as a changeup sometimes. Backdoor breaking ball right there to get it to 0-2. Now he can wrap it around his feet if he wants.
1-2. Hey, can I get a ball? That's a bad ball.
Yeah, no good.
That one didn't come out right. We got to get a new one. Again, we talk about his maturity. That's a mature kid. I need a new ball. That was not up to my standard. Veteran move there from Kumar Rocker. Give me a new rock. 3 in a row. I think they got him set up to throw some gas here.
Where do you go? Up?
Yeah, I would climb the ladder here. You've thrown him 3 straight breaking balls that have all started up. You try to throw that 94-95 just above the belt.
Is this a body type that adds velocity as he gets older?
You know, I think I'm interested to watch that, right? Because most of the time, take Emerson Hancock, for instance, we see these freshmen come into the league that show you all the right things, but you look at the body and you say, okay, the body needs to make a jump, and when it does, the velo will. Well, you look at Kumar Rocker, the body doesn't need to make a jump. So,
I mean, if you're gonna drop a starting pitcher physically,
yeah,
that's what they look like right there. I mean, big lower half. Take stress off the arm. Like to see the fastball here. He's thrown 5 straight sliders to a freshman.
But it'd be interesting to see if the velo jumps on his time here on campus, just because the body already looks so mature. You know, will he go from that 91, 94 range that he kind of lives in now up to that 94, 97 range like we've seen from Hancock this year?
Will be the difference be strength or mechanics to add that velocity?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's all the above.
Payoff. Pulled to the right side. Infante waits and then wins the race. No runs to hit. 1 stranded, third of the way through.
My first home run of my baseball career ever was on my friend Matt Leach's birthday, and I said, hey man, I'm gonna try to hit a home run for you for your birthday. You know, this was like a little league, put it over the fence, you know, it was only like, 150, 200 feet. When you become stronger, over time with age, they just tend to go out when you square them up. But at the same time, if you were to tell me at the beginning of the year, hey, you're gonna hit 25 bombs, I'd be like, get out of here, quit making fun of me or something like that.
Well, they were wrong. He's going to 26. At least.
And counting.
He might end up hitting 32. Top of the order, Austin Martin, J.J. Blade, and then Ethan Paul for Vandy. And Martin gives this one a ride opposite way and onto the berm.
We haven't seen 30 in this league with the new bat. And, there haven't been many around the country. Chris Bryant comes to mind. What was that, 34, Chris Bryant?
They hit that man?
San Diego. But, yeah, you get up in the high 20s. You were in elite company in the BB core bat era.
It's a pretty good tear.
Hey, Mark. Come on, baby.
What we got, Tommy? How many?
31.
31.
2013 at USD. Got away from Garza, doesn't locate it until it gets over to the Vandy dugout. Yeah, Martin reaches with J.J. Blade coming up. 2 for 2, single and a bomb.
That's good.
It's okay.
If you,
it's okay.
Lead the league in everything, you're having a pretty good year, and that'll get you the SEC Player of the Year award.
The only guy he's second to in runs is the guy standing on first base. Austin Martin first in runs, 4th in batting average. I mean, I know we've talked about it plenty, but the combination of categories that those two lead this league in is pretty crazy for 2 hitters hitting 1-2.
This is what he did last time up.
Hanging breaking ball, and he will hurt your feelings if you make that pitch to him. There is just not a lot of room for error with something soft in the strike zone to J.J. Blade, especially late in the count once he sized you up a little bit. He is putting on quite a show here in Hoover. 5 hits the other night, now a bomb.
He's already talked to a handful of teams that have the early picks in next week's draft, I should say. 7 of 10 in this tournament. Derek Jeter and the Marlins brass are here watching him. Can you imagine being a college player playing in front of Jeter?
It's a little different deal. I heard him say that he didn't know till after the game. Probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's probably better. Well, 5 hits look pretty good.
It reminded me a little bit of Zion or LeBron going to watch Zion. Of course, Jeter's making a pick. LeBron was just there for entertainment. But you know you're a pretty big deal when Jeter's in the house to watch you play.
Yeah, we're not exactly next door to Miami, are we?
No.
That's what G4s are made for. I think they got up and back pretty quick, probably. Blade is going to go in the top 10 for sure. Hunter Bishop, another outfielder for Arizona State that's had a big year. But it feels like besides Rutschman and Vaughn, who, I mean, have been talked about since the jump this year to be top 3 overall picks, it's going to be Blade after that.
It'd be interesting to see if Vaughn ends up going higher than Blade.
There's a great article by J.J. Cooper and guys out of Baseball America today about how the draft has gotten so much better. Teams have gotten so much better of identifying talent, and the guys that are going in the first 6 picks tend to be the ones that have the most war once you get into a position down the road to judge the draft. And that wasn't the case back in the 80s.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to regret picking J.J. Blade. He just shows you all the right moves, and when you talk to Tim Corbin about him, and he starts getting into the type of kid he is, and the work habits, and the type of teammate he is, a lot of things to feel certain about if you're a team drafting at the first 5 picks.
Chase the breaking ball in the dirt, and Garza finishes the strikeout.
Shadows are pretty tough right now. That's Austin Martin and J.J. Blade back-to-back at bats, looking like they don't know what they're seeing. And give Rapol credit. Just keep spinning that breaking ball. I mean, both guys chased breaking balls that weren't really all that close. And you can see he's standing in the sunlight and they're standing in the dark. And I just don't think they're seeing the seams on those breaking balls.
Ethan Paul at the plate. I don't know if you heard the story about Ethan Paul, but he was 11 years old. He was playing Little League Baseball, and of course he was dominating because this is who he is. The other team brought in a new pitcher. Guy's delivery was funky. Fastball wasn't as fast. Ethan realized it was a special needs kid that he was facing. So Ethan Paul took 3 of the wildest, craziest swings you've ever seen, struck out on 3 pitches just to see the other kid delight in getting his first ever strikeout.
Wow. Now that's a heck of a story. What a career Ethan Paul has had here. It's had its ups and downs. But season he has put together here is nothing short of remarkable, considering he had carried a lot of question marks on the defensive side of things coming into this season. Uh-oh.
Wow. Duplantis sprinting towards the track. Watson is there. Neither one can find it. 2-run bomb, Ethan Paul. Second home run of the day for Vandy.
Pick your poison with this lineup, man. It's just up and down. Danger all over the place. 9th home run of the year for the senior Ethan Paul. And that's just a center cut fastball right into that left-handed swing path. Oof. That's pretty.
Punch out Martin and Blade on breaking balls and give up a home run on a fastball to Ethan Paul. Easy to relax maybe after you get those two through those 2, but everybody can hurt you in this lineup.
I like Rapol's breaking ball.
Yeah. Guessing he wishes he would have thrown it right there. What a jump Ethan Paul has made. Last year was really a struggle in SEC play, but this season really has hit from the beginning of the year on. 66 runs driven in.
Here's the 0-1. And Rapol misses low and in. Philip Clark is 0 for 2. Lefty's 5 for 10 in this Vandy lineup today. Commodores up a touchdown. Tag applied by Garza. 2 down.
There's another look at that breaking ball. Man, I tell you what, there's not a whole lot of pitchers in the country that can say they punched out Martin, Blade, and Clark 3 out of 4. I mean, this is
in the same inning. They still have to pitch.
They're still out there.
That's 3 strikeouts in the inning so far, and he's not done yet.
Something tells me Steven Scott's going to see some breaking balls.
Rapol threw a perfect game in high school. And John Curtis in New Orleans was 10-0 with a .98 and 102 strikeouts in 71 and a third innings. There it is again, 1 and 2.
If he can land it, there aren't too many they're going to hit it.
Man. Steven Scott missed that one by a foot.
Four strikeouts in the inning for Will Rapol. But a 2-run home run from Ethan Paul extends Vandy's lead. They're a field goal away from a run rule.
Commodores playing a little long ball this afternoon. Ethan Paul with a launch piece to right center. All Vandy so far.
Welcome back. I'm Joan with Vanderbilt. Coach Tim Corbin. Coach, your offense has been consistent throughout the regular season, throughout this tournament. How have you allowed to stay and keep that consistency?
Well, I think it's them. They're professional in what they do. They're older, they're mature, handle business well in between the games, and I really think that it's that consistency in between the games that gives them some type of success once they get to this point.
What have you seen from Rocker's outing today?
Pretty good. He's throwing strikes for the most part, not giving up any free bases. Just got to continue to hit the zone with a 7-run lead and get us in here as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Tim Corbin just used a word that I think is it's perfect for his program, and that's professional. He expects professionalism out of his players, especially his upperclassmen. He's as professional as they come, and under Tim Corbin, he's developed this program into one of the nation's elite. He's the winningest coach in Vanderbilt history, and he's produced 14 first-round picks thanks to not only his coaching but also his staff's recruiting. 3 trips to Omaha and a national title for Tim Corbin.
To that point, too, and I don't know that it can be that way every year, but with the seniors that Vanderbilt has this year and the seniors are playing big roles, he can let them lead a little bit more. He can take his hands off a little bit more, and because those guys have earned the right to do it. You can see, zero comparison before Tim Corbin got to the West End and what he's done since he got there. It's one of the best programs in the country since he showed up.
If there's zero comparison, why do we have Kevin build the graphic? I've got a comparison for you.
Okay. What do you have, Thomas?
I don't know that makes much of a difference, because what's the difference in being the number 1 seed in the tournament or the number 4 seed?
Well, actually, you
playing
could
the
say
16 or the 13.
Maybe you don't want to be the number 1 seed, being it's been so long since one of them won it.
Miami is the only one to go in as number 1 and win it all.
Where are you going with this?
Vandy versus UCLA.
Okay.
Who's more deserving of the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament?
UCLA. They haven't lost a series the whole year. They won the Pac-12. Out of conference, they won 2 out of 3 at Georgia Tech, and they swept East Carolina. Georgia Tech's going to be a national seed. East Carolina's going to be a host. I mean, listen, there's not a wrong answer in that, but if you haven't lost a series the whole year and out of conference, you beat 2 others that are going to host, I think you're the #1 overall. What do you got, Burke?
I agree. I think it's been a complete body of work start to finish for UCLA. And that's not taking anything away from Vanderbilt's resume, but I would give the nod to the Bruins.
You guys would be terrible on Around the Horn.
Yeah, because we agree so much.
Yeah. That one's hard to argue.
2-1 to Cabrera.
Rewind.
UCLA wrapped up the Pac-12 title from the bus the other night.
That was a pretty cool video going around.
Yep.
Devils came back late against Stanford to win the opener. I believe they got him today. I think Arizona State took 2 out of 3 from Stanford to finish the season.
Does the Pac-12 not having a tournament hurt them in any way in the postseason?
I don't know. I mean, I wish they had one. I know that. Does it hurt them? I'm not sure.
Stanford came back to win 3-2.
Knew it. Cardinal lost one series the whole year. The only one they lost was UCLA at home.
Split with Oregon State, right? Rain shortened.
True. They didn't play game 3.
UC Santa Barbara beat Cal Poly to wrap up the Big West regular season title. That brings an automatic bid.
That's big. That's big for those that are on the bubble, because if Cal Poly would have won that, Cal Poly gets the automatic bid. Santa Barbara wins it, they get the automatic bid. Cal Poly's not going to be in at large. So that's one. If you're sitting on the bubble, you became a Gaucho fan today. Here, at least as of today, last 5 in, first 5 out. Florida right in the middle of that. Missouri on that first 5 out list. UC Irvine from the Big West on the first 5 out. Flame Train may get in there now. They were, I think they went 2-0 today. Beat Stetson. Could still get in as the automatic.
What's your take on Missouri?
Well, I got them behind Florida, but it's not too far off. I mean, you look at some of their quality series wins. They beat this LSU team. They beat Ole Miss. So, they've beaten 2 of the Final 4 teams here in Hoover. They beat Vanderbilt on the road, split with A&M on the road, and almost had them beat. So Missouri's got a really nice resume. Just faltered down the stretch, and you wonder how the committee is going to view the way they finished, losing their last 5 conference games, if you count losing here in Hoover. But I tell you, I think it's a team that can absolutely win a regional. And if the goal is to get the best 64 teams in the tournament, I would think that Missouri belongs in.
4 innings in the books. Semifinal Saturday continues. Let's climb inside Daryl Arnold's head. All access with our SEC officials crew.
Hey, at umpatire.com, why don't we have a shorts option? Today would be the perfect day for shorts. Yeah, we need to get it approved. I can market it. Well, I mean, we got like 3/4 of the council out here right now. No tank tops. What about like a modified tank top?
Like what a wrestler would wear to the ring?
Jimmy Superfly Snooker.
What do you got on that laugh?
Oh, that was great.
I'm all in on the Superfly Snooker drop too.
What about a modified tank top? I'd like to see umpires in shorts and a modified tank top. That would be great TV.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't really want to see anybody in shorts and a modified tank top.
Sounds like something Chris Burke would wear to the salad bar. Officials deserve great brands. Here's a line drive to left off the bat of DeMarco. We've created a monster by putting mics on the umpires. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. That's why they've been talking about you all week, because I know that Bailey's more likely to cut that tape and get it to air.
Because I'm such an easy target.
Ryan Moorhead behind the plate. Paul Gillier, the supervisor of officials. Certainly appreciate all the access we get to those guys to help us better understand their jobs. 2 down. You think it's hot? I can almost see heat waves in front of Duplantis. That's DJ Derrick's turntable.
DJ Derrick's down one.
Wow.
There he is. There's your guy.
Chris Burke was in bed at the 17-inning game, but DJ Derrick was spinning to the very end. They brought him in from Arkansas.
He was here last year, wasn't he? He was here last year.
Yeah, period.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. Harrison Ray drove in a run with a single in the second and with a bases-loaded walk in the third.
Man, Rapol can really spin it, y'all.
Yes, he can.
I mean, that is a real breaking ball. Yeah, early, I was kind of convinced the shadows were helping him out, but as he continues to make people look bad, I don't think it has anything to do with that. That's a real breaking ball.
But at this point, when the book is clear what he's going to do you just go eliminate the fastball? I mean, you know you're going to get, if the at-bat goes long enough, you're going to get 2, 3, 4 curveballs every at-bat.
And I think the issue is, can you identify that he's actually throwing it for a strike? And number 2, does he actually have the intent to throw the fastball over the plate? If he doesn't, then yeah, I think you eliminate it and just sit on that curveball.
Swing and a miss. K number 5 for Rapol. Got a social media battle going on. We'll tell you what Chris Reed wants to do with Ben McDonald after this. Chris Reed becoming a cult hero for LSU, not just for what he's done on the field, but also how he engages with fans and College Baseball Hall of Famers. We call this Read My Twitter. And this was the morning of morning after the extra inning game. He matched his energy, and then Ben McDonald threw a bow at him. Fighting words. No, he's impressed. Infield hit and scored from first. Plus speed.
Yes.
I got the horses in the back.
This dude makes me laugh, man.
What was that tune? Da 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 da.
Yeah, it's what's the rest of the song? Ain't nobody something that my kids sing it. Shut up, Hart. Call the game. What's this song, Chris?
No, I just love that Chris Reed has a blue check mark, meaning he's verified, which means that people will try and basically emulate him. But I checked y'all's accounts. Everyone but KP's got a blue check mark next to their name.
I'm out on this whole verify thing. I'm out. My life goal is to be unverified forever.
You're winning.
1-0 me. I'm going to figure this song out, and then you're going to feel terrible about yourself. Hold on.
Look at this. Chris Reed scoring from first base. Paul Maneri said he popped a tire coming around second. Thought he was going to be hurt, but hustled home.
I got the horses in the back, he said. That is classic. What a great story. I mean, and all the kid does is just put together professional at-bats.
Old Town Road. Old Town Road. That's the song. Sorry.
You had to find the answer, didn't you? Chris Reed failed his conditioning test as a freshman.
I know how that feels.
Line drive to left, of course. Rising to the occasion, leadoff single. Second time LSU's put the leadoff man on against Kumar Rocker.
You know, Chris Reed was cut from the program at the end of last year. He rejoined, and during that time that he was off, he was coaching a 10 and under baseball team, the Traction Canes. So I asked him, what was it like coming back when you've been away from collegiate baseball for so long. He said, I've never had a problem with a feel for the ball, but then I got up there at the first scrimmage, went 0 for 3. Maneri goes, that's about what I expected. And he said, I didn't really realize how big of a difference there was between a 55-mile-an-hour fastball and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
He found it.
I like having Berkey in the booth for the first time because then we can repeat the stories we've been telling all season about guys like Chris Reed.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I was surprised he didn't play more the last couple years after the year he had his freshman season where he gave him so many quality at-bats. But kind of ended up morphing into a role more of a bench player, pinch hitter type.
Did you know about his grandpa, though? Here's a little flare to right field. LSU professor, master's horticulture, been working on strawberry breeding and new wine grape breeding programs.
I didn't know that, Tom. Now I do.
You've watched none of these games all year long with the sound on, and I don't blame you. Garza has another hit. He is 2 for 2. Chris Reed now 90 feet away from getting a run across. He's a Baton Rouge guy, third-generation LSU graduate. Cousin Ronnie played football there. Sonny was on the gymnastics squad. Also, 3-time All-State as a punter in high school.
Yeah, was going to try to punt his freshman year at LSU. Ended up being surprise fine for Paul Maneri that freshman season.
Cam Cameron, their former offensive coordinator, at one point talked to him about walking on. Yeah.
Harder to keep your edge pitching in a 7-0 game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You got to figure out some way to get yourself mad. I mean, I try to do that in between innings. I mean, think about somebody you didn't like or somebody that said something. Think about the stuff that you say to me sometimes.
Foul territory. Ray hustling that way, but won't get there in time. Oh, there's a flag.
Yes.
Whoa,
Blocking the back.
Finish him.
Oh, that was uncalled for.
Uh-oh. That's a late unsportsmanlike conduct call.
Let's see here. We got Ray. Oh, he goes over his head to begin with. Now it's on the
play.
concrete.
Okay.
We got a push.
He had position. He had inside position right there.
And the low man usually wins.
Watch the light.
In a late
Bang.
hook.
Solar plexus right at the end.
Impressive tussle right there.
Chopper left side. Paul goes to second for the out. And that will get a run home as Hal Hughes picks up an RBI fielder's choice, scoring Chris Reed.
Got to be sliding there, don't we? I don't know if he's going to be safe or not, but not going to be safe like that.
Unfortunately for Vanderbilt, you had to catcher Garza running to second, or that could have been first and second, nobody out right there.
Tough road to hoe for LSU. Only one team has ever overcome a deficit of 7 runs or more in this tournament. It was Georgia against South Carolina. Trailed 9-zip in 2006. They won that game 16-10. I bet that was a quickly played game. Couple of flyouts for Smith. Oh my gosh.
Jared Foster, look out. That dude could run.
Where it looks like it.
Foster,
he can't dance.
Fly.
And the truth is, Rapol looks like he's got Vandy on their heels a little bit. So one big swing of the bat right here, you get it to 7-3. You got still plenty of ball game left. It's all about just chipping away. Nice to get that first one across. Boy, they'd love a couple more.
Hugh Fisher getting loose for Vandy.
The Vandy bullpen has been better lately, but you still can run into some command issues down there. So for LSU, if they could get Rocker out of this game here in the 5th, 6th inning, make Vandy go to the bullpen for the remaining balance of it, you just never know.
'80th pitch from Rocker. Gets through. And they're going to send Hughes to third, and he'll stop there. Stranger things have happened with LSU baseball for sure.
Josh Smith works it all the way back to a 3-2 count, gets a fastball. Not a bad position down in the zone, but that's the one Smith can really handle. You can throw about as hard as you want, but if it's down in the zone, Smith is usually going to cover it. Back up the middle. Hughes goes first to third. And LSU's showing some signs of life this inning. 3 hits in the inning, 5 in the game for the Tigers.
Nobody's won more titles than LSU. Nobody close. And under Paul Mainieri, 6 titles. They've won 11 in his 16 tournaments.
38-9
here. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
He's playing better than .800 baseball at the SEC tournament.
I don't know if he's Mainieri or MacGyver. He's doing it with gum wrappers and baling wire and duct tape this week. Chris?
I asked Paul Mainieri why they're so good at this tournament. He said, I just feel that the SEC regular season is such a grind, and you're so tired by the time you get here that you just play really loose. And he quoted Rob Childress saying that the SEC regular season is like eating an elephant. You can't win it all in a bite, in one big bite. You have to take a bunch of small bites. And he thinks that these guys are just kind of more comfortable when they get here after they have that in their back rearview mirror.
How many bites did it take you to finish your cheeseburger between games?
5? Not many.
Over under was 5.5.
Well, the one thing they haven't done here is win starting on Tuesday. And last couple years, last year they were the first team ever to get to the finals starting on a Tuesday. This year they were back playing on Tuesday again.
See if this is deep enough. Catch made and left. And headed to second.
Oh, wow. No.
Got him! The run did not score in time.
No way.
The run's got to get across the plate before the play at second for the third out.
Wow. This couldn't have gone much worse for LSU here. Ethan Paul redirects the throw to second base, and they're saying the out was recorded before Hal Hughes touched home plate. And if that's the case, LSU is going to be kicking themselves for running out of this inning.
Wow. So there's a couple different things that they want to review as they look back at this. Was he out at second?
Right.
Number one. And number two, if they establish that he was out at second, did that out occur before the runner came across?
Correct.
This one might take a while. The first thing that matters was he out at second. Ethan Paul with a really good job. Really, I thought Steven Scott should have just thrown that ball to second.
That's not even close. It's not even close as far as whether the run scores. Now is he out?
Tough to see there. See if we got a better look at it here. Scott, you see Ethan Paul was pointing to second base, and Scott throws it right to him. Really quick turnaround by Ethan Scott. The tag is before he touches, no doubt about it, KP. The question is the tag before Josh Smith touches? What do you think?
I think he's out. I don't think we've seen anything that would say that he's not. This may be the best shot.
I see the foot on the bag.
And again, the call on the field matters big time here because it's really hard to say definitively that he beat it.
I think this is your best look at it. I don't think you got enough to overturn it.
You can't overturn it.
I don't think you got enough to overturn it.
And then the second piece would be, is the tag made before Hal Hughes touches home plate?
That's an absolute yes.
I would say yes. There's the tag there, and he's in the air. And to Hal Hughes' defense, he didn't let up. He was running. It wasn't a case of a guy jogging home knowing he was going to be safe. He was running. Man, a 7-1 ball game. That was a pretty aggressive play by Josh Smith, and one that could really cost the Tigers in this one.
Crazy thing is, the throw goes straight to second base. Smith probably stops. Probably goes back. So if the throw goes where it originally was supposed to, run scores.
Thought it was a heads-up play by Ethan Paul. What is he looking at in that situation?
Well, he knows they're not going to throw him out at home, so he's pointing to second base, but Steven Scott just came up and threw it to him, and like KP's saying, that's what Josh Smith had gone back because he knew it was going to be an easy catch by Steven Scott, and he was reading the throw. When he saw it go home, he kept the pedal down and tried to get to second base to steal an extra base, but again, credit Ethan Paul for a sharp throw to Harrison Ray.
We'll update you on the decision after the replay, after we step away to pay some bills. Here's the ruling. Daryl Arnold, what do you got? Just as was originally ruled. Turns into a double play instead of a sac fly.
That one stings if you're Josh Smith and the LSU Tigers.
Here's Julian Infante with Vandy on top 7-1 in the sixth. The winner gets Ole Miss tomorrow. ESPN2 for the SEC championship. Drew Bianco is entered at first base. Talk about a guy who's got it going, huh?
Well, he looks good.
Put two good swings on it yesterday. He really didn't have anything to show for it, but hit a ball to the track, lined out to Mangum in center field.
I think he's going to have some monster years here at LSU. I know it's been rough sledding here freshman year, but he looks the part.
Infante's first hit, and it takes us back to the top of the order in Austin Martin.
And as bad as he looked at the breaking ball last time up, I would imagine Austin Martin's going to see a steady diet of them this AB.
LSU softball in action in their Super Regional. Trailing 1-0. Trying to get out of the Twin Cities and playing that beautiful facility in Minnesota. It's a 4-pitch walk to Austin Martin. That game's over on ESPN2, by the way. If you don't want to put up with our shenanigans anymore, don't blame you.
After a really solid 5th inning, Rapol off to a slow start here in the 6th, and now he's got his hands full. Punched Blade out last time with a breaking ball. Tell you what, another large one here, and it would put Vandy on the brink of the 10-run rule.
9 appearances, 13 2/3 innings for Rapol, so he's just got to get into a point in the game they haven't been at this year.
And Blade sends it into center. Zach Watson. Crisis averted for now. Runner advanced to third. Heads up base running by Julian Infante. Speaking of the run rule, no team has ever run ruled and been run ruled in the same tournament. LSU has run ruled twice in the same season 3 times. Vandy once. But LSU has only been run ruled 1 time. That was 06. Ole Miss beat them 12-1. Ethan Paul hit a 2-run home run. It's last time up, he is 2 for 3.
Boy, missed a good one right there. I don't know if he's just not sure of where Rapol was going to go or if he was sitting breaking ball, but first pitch fastball right down Broadway.
Popped up to left. Looking at tag Infante. Cabrera's throw will go to second. 8-1 Vandy. 3 ribbies for Paul tonight.
That's the one he was waiting on. He just missed it. Got enough score to run, obviously, but that's why I understand Rapol's got it really good, and it worked. I mean, he got the fly ball, got it out. But if you see the reaction to me that you did from Ethan Paul in the first pitch, it tells me he's sitting breakable. Because if he's going to take a fastball right down the middle, I think you do it again. Then if you want to bury a breaking ball down in the dirt, that's fine. But the approach right there just led me to believe that he was going to be sitting on the first curveball.
Yeah, he's shaking his head because he got exactly what he was hoping for. Mike Baxter right there, the Vanderbilt hitting coach, having a conversation with him like everything worked the way we planned it. And look, if your consolation prize is a sac fly,
right,
it's a good AB. There you go, KP. Fastball.
Yeah, I mean, watch the reaction.
Down
I mean, that
Broadway.
is center cut.
And then on time for a breaking ball.
Just hit the bottom part of the baseball. He squares that up. It's 10-1.
Runner goes, pitch is dropped by Garza, and it's a stolen base for Austin Martin. In the Big 12, TCU leads Oklahoma State 11-6. Top of the 9th inning. TCU would have to beat the Cowboys twice today to stay alive in the Big 12.
Making a run. The Horned Frogs look like they were in big trouble a few weeks ago, but they're playing like a team who wants to get in. Still don't know if they're in that large, but
TCU?
Yeah.
No, I think they got to win it.
Yeah.
But they are last year. They were out and made it all the way to the finals of the Big 12 tournament there.
Drop pop-up cost them a win, which would have gotten them into the tournament. In the ACC in Durham, North Carolina, NC State and Georgia Tech are tied at 1 in the 5th inning. Winner of that one goes to the championship game tomorrow, which you can see on ESPN2 prior to the SEC championship.
Runes is down there now, isn't he?
He is. He's
Making
running a
rounds
very
in
little
America?
sleep, but yeah. Taking his bucket hat to North Carolina. Tar Heels beat Boston College 13-5 on the other side.
BC with a pretty good run in that event.
It was. UCLA final game of the year canceled, huh? Get on a plane and go home. State 1-2 here. They're a national seed. Stanford, Tim Tawa. Late 2-run home run today. They take 2 out of 3 from the Devils on the road. I don't think they'll be a national seed, but there's a pretty good argument for Stanford to be one. Arkansas is one. Georgia is one. I think Louisville is one. Louisville's resume was just too good before they went 0-2 in that conference tournament.
Philip Clark's looking for his first hit, 0 for 3. Pardon me, Steven Scott. 0 for 2 with a walk. Is Indiana State in?
Indiana State?
Yeah.
I thought they were still playing.
No, I mean,
Projected
they're
to be
not.
in,
Are they
yes.
projected as an at-large?
They're projected in Louisville's regional by D1.
There's no bid thief then in the Missouri Valley. They beat Dallas Baptist earlier today, and they've got them again tonight.
Yeah, I think they were in already.
Around third is Martin. He's going to score. The throw from Duplantis is cut off, and it's an RBI single for Steven Scott.
Steven Scott stays red hot.
Oh, I see what you did.
See how I did that?
Pat on the back for you, sir.
Thank you. First hit of this ball game, couple punch outs, but a fastball up in the zone, and he rips it past Drew Bianco in that 4-hole. Vandy now extending the lead to 9-1 as they are pouring it on here in the 6th.
Now, what do you got that rhymes with DeMarco?
I'll get back to you.
Line drive up the middle. Philip Clark coming around third. They're going to point him home, and the ball is dropped by Watson. Will have to hustle to get it to third. And Vanderbilt tallies another. Back-to-back hits for Scott and DeMarco.
Some 2-out damage right here. Walk to Clark, single for Scott, single for DeMarco, who's hit it hard a bunch today. Second hit of the day, lined out to left field. A lot of that damage has been done on breaking balls, too. That looked like another one. There's your, what did you call it before?
Little front zone length right
Front zone length right there.
There you go. Stay down and through it.
Look at that.
No RBI for DeMarco. E8 on Zach Watson.
No RBI. That's wrong.
Wait, hold. We have an update coming. There is an RBI.
Thank you, Tom.
Ty Duvall at the plate. Run rule goes into effect after 7.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Lifted to right. Duplantis towards the fence. It's gone. Ty Duvall with his 4th home run of the season. Vandy's blown it open.
Boy, the bottom of the lineup in this ball game has just been outstanding for Vanderbilt. And just when you thought Rapol had their number, they come out here in the 6th and put up a 6 spot on a hanging breaking ball by Ty Duvall. On time and on target. A rocket into the right field bullpen. Vandy stretches the lead to 13-1. What a lineup.
Yep. For Rapol, too, I know, I mean, the line score is not going to look great. to me, that's a guy who can come in and get you 3 to 6 outs in the regional, because second time through the order is going to look a little bit different. The stuff's a little bit different. First time, there weren't too many guys taking good swings at him.
Bottom third of the order, 4 for 8, with 6 driven in for Vanderbilt. Harrison Ray will be the 9th batter of the inning. Get to that after this. Let's take a look at who's taking the next step, brought to you by Regions.
Seen a lot of anti-offense today now, up and down this lineup. 1, 2, 3 home runs for the Commodores today. Blade in the 3rd, Paul in the 4th, Duvall in the 6th, and it's just showing it. I mean, this is a different LSU pitching staff than you would see game 1, game 2 of a regional. They're just running out of arms, but still, it just shows you that if you're Vanderbilt, if it's not elite arms on the other side, they can make you pay in a hurry.
Vandy has scored 32 runs in 3 games this week on 30 hits and 4 home runs. And the hits keep coming. Harrison Ray on his way to second. Berkey, how about his improvement over the years for Vanderbilt?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting the way he's settled in at second base. They weren't so sure when they inserted him into this lineup, as you see him drop the head to a heater and rip it into the left field corner. And Vanderbilt's been outstanding on defense all year long, but early you're sitting there looking at it, okay, you got Ray that's played quite a bit in the outfield. You got Paul that's been mostly at second base. Is that a championship middle infield? But Ray has really held down the fort at second base. Of course, Ethan Paul, we've been talking about all game, has done a beautiful job at shortstop, and combine that with the offense, and it's really been remarkable how well this Vanderbilt middle infield's played all year long.
Infante comes to the plate for the second time this inning. Riggs Threadgill, freshman from Texas, making his 11th appearance this season. LSU has tied their SEC tournament high for runs allowed going back to 1987 in a 13-3 loss to Mississippi State. Greg Patterson took the L in that one. Threadgill finishes the frame, but not before Vandy sends 10 to the plate. Half dozen score. Run rule in effect for LSU here. See if they break out the powder blues again. They await the winner of this one. Ole Miss playing for back-to-back titles tomorrow, 3 o'clock on ESPN2. What's our idea of what the pitching might look like for either side tomorrow?
Vanderbilt should be fine, I think. They played 3 games. 2 are potentially going to be run rules. Ole Miss had to battle back from day one. I mean, you just at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get Patrick Raby for Vanderbilt. You're going to get their Game 3 starter. Yeah. Like, they got one of their weekend dudes going tomorrow, and for Ole Miss, it was essentially a bullpen day today to get you to this point. Tomorrow, I don't know what we'll see, but one thing's for sure, Ole Miss has grounded it all the way to get to the championship game. You know they're going to keep fighting, but certainly the advantage on the mound will be with Vanderbilt if they hang on to this one.
It was good. It's the first time I'd seen him in person. Kumar Rocker today, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, fastball into the mid-90s, really good breaking ball. You can see why the professional side really liked him out of high school. Be a high draft in 2 years.
Lefty Hugh Fisher on the mound now. Comes in blowing 95. That's a fair ball down the line. Antoine Duplantis on his way to second base. Still running. Steven Scott finally gets to it. The throw to third is not in time. Whew. What a throw from Scott. Second extra base hit for Duplantis.
Man, LSU taking some chances on the bases, and fortunately for the Tigers, Antoine Duplantis gets in there just ahead of the tag from Austin Martin. Heck of a throw from Steven Scott, but Antoine Duplantis showing you things that we've grown accustomed to seeing from him. A rocket left on left, oppo, and then the speed to get to third on a ball down the third baseline.
Ground ball up the middle, and nobody gets to it. And Duplantis will come home. And Antoine Duplantis with his 16th triple. He's past our buddy who is
on his way home
in the friendly skies today. School record 16th triple, better than Todd Walker's 15.
Well, now we know why he went for third. Antoine knows the record book. Got it, baby.
He's just a few away from the all-time hit record at LSU, too. We've talked about this, but I mean, you expect Duplantis going to get a few more before this season's over. I mean, we could have Mangum and Duplantis and 1-2 in hits in the history of this league. That's fun to watch those guys for 4 years.
Pretty cool. And if you're wondering why it's never happened for a team to play on Tuesday and win the whole thing, you're kind of seeing it here with what we're getting out of the bullpen from Vanderbilt, who is rested, just playing their third game, and what we've seen from LSU, who's been grinding all week long. 96 from Hugh Fisher.
And then 86. So you're talking about the all-time hit leaders in the SEC. Jake Mangum of Mississippi State set the record. He's got 372 currently, 20 ahead of Furness, and Duplantis only 3 behind the Doctor.
Pretty special right there.
How many did you have in 3 years?
314.
Nice block by Philip Clark. Snap throw to first.
Well, Vanderbilt's bullpen may scuffle sometimes just from a control standpoint, but pure velocity, They won't. They're going to throw arm after arm after arm at you. Oh, my.
Watson is displeased.
And you just said it, KP. This is what you get a little bit with the Vandy bullpen. You're going to see premium arm talent, and sometimes the fastball can get a little wayward. But, you know, Hugh Fisher, just a sophomore, coming in 95, 96 with a really tight breaking ball. So talented.
Gavin Dugas is going to pinch hit in Chris Reed's spot. .95 upstairs. LSU needs to find some offense if they want to avoid being run ruled. 10-run rule, mercy rule after 7 innings. You piece together a couple here, then piece together in the 7th. They can extend the game.
KP, you were talking earlier about the fact that LSU is void of left-handed pitching. You look at this Vanderbilt bullpen. Of course, you got Hugh Fisher right here in front of us, Zach King, Jake Eater, A.J. Franklin. They can run some lefties out of this bullpen at you.
That's a big deal. I mean, that makes it tough from a matchup standpoint if you're LSU. If you don't have a lefty guy anywhere.
That one gets to the backstop. Surprised Dugas was able to get out of the way.
This one went on the other side of him.
I think he is too. Right about now, I think he's going to wear it.
That looked like a wiffle ball pitch.
But yeah, I mean, if you're wondering why you're seeing a guy with 95, 96 in a 13-2 game, it's because it can be a little unreliable. I think this kid has a really, really high upside, and he's had outings where it has just been lights out. And they need him. They're going to need him at some point in this run to come in and get some big punch outs.
Charging it short, Ethan Paul scoops and fires. Got Dugas. Brought a run home for LSU.
Another tough chance here for Ethan Paul. Love how the glove comes forward there on that short hop, and then a really quick release. Just beating the right foot of Dugas.
That's a good point. And watching Paul charge that one, how the glove goes through it instead of down to up or up to down.
And just keep moving through it as you're running. And I tell you, the arm doesn't wow you like you see from maybe Kessinger or Casey Martin. And the numbers aren't quite as good as Cam Shepard. But, you know, you put the total package together. Ethan Paul's been as good as any shortstop in the league this year.
Brayton Doty will pinch hit for LSU, sophomore from Denham Springs. That one gets to the backstop, and here comes Watson. He'll score. And LSU has scrambled a few across here.
They're talking about the fastball for Hugh Fisher is definitely there. It's the misfires that are Well, they're just not close. And on this one, there's nothing Philip Clark can do. You got a guy throwing 96. You're sitting up for an outside fastball, and it's 6-8 inches off the inside part of the plate and down. There's just not enough time to get that glove there.
Swing and a miss to finish it. Doty K's, but LSU gets 3 across in the 6th, now trailing by 9. Selection show Monday noon on ESPNU. Matt Schick, Kyle Peterson, Mike Rooney will hold it down, tell you who's in and who's out. And then the regionals a few days later, starting May 31st, Super Regionals, best of 3, yada yada, heading to Omaha. Ground ball, first pitch, and 1 down. How about these guys? Major League debuts from SEC players this season.
We'll get another one, right? Mike Yastrzemski coming up, so that'll make it 11. These are just the debuts this year. Pete Alonso hit his 17th, I think, last night. Sean Anderson starting for the Giants. Corbin Martin's looked good since coming up to the Astros.
Senzel came up with a pretty big splash. A couple homers in his first series as a Red.
And Yastrzemski for the Giants, it's not like somebody got hurt. They cut a guy to bring him up. Here's J.J. Bleday, a former Vanderbilt player, by the way. 2-0 to Bleday from Threadgill. Dowdy has stayed in the game to catch. Here's Cabrera. Two out. No surprise that Tim Corbin has success when it comes to draft day based on the type of talent they bring in and the improvement of that talent once they get to Vanderbilt. It's pretty remarkable what he's built on the West End.
It certainly is. Tough to picture Vanderbilt 20 years ago being the powerhouse that they've become, but every year you can rely on them having power arms. And, recently it's been a little bit of tough sledding. I mean, I think about them losing in day one here last year in his post-game press conference where it was just, get me out of this league.
Yeah.
You could just see the grind of the 30-game schedule, but a little different feeling this year around.
Time to stretch. LSU trailing by 9. Tim Corbin making some notes in the Vandy dugout. His team leads by 9. 17th season as a head coach and the winningest coach in Vanderbilt history.
Well, when you see Tim Corbin around here in the ballpark, there's one thing you always see with him. He's carrying around his fungo off the bus, walking around here in the outfield before the game. There's his fungo bat. That thing is taking some hits. I asked him, I said, why do you always have it with you? You're not even hitting over here. He said, it's like my pacifier. So it's really embarrassing that I'm 60-some-odd years old and I still got to carry something around that soothes me, gives me comfort.
He's a man of routine.
Yes, he is.
He hits a sweet spot plenty.
Pretty cool to see somebody been at it as long as him that's still engaged so actively on a daily basis, not just on the coaching and managing side of things, but on the player development side. I mean, nobody works any harder than he does at developing his infielders. See, he has worn out the sweet spot there on that fungo. I remember a few weeks back doing the Louisville Vanderbilt game, and about 15 minutes before the first pitch, he had a couple of the backup infielders out there doing Ron Washington fielding drills down the left field line. Special dude.
Explain those.
Just a bunch of glove drills where you're on your knee working on, just like we were talking about with Ethan Paul coming through the baseball, backhands, forehands, balls in front of you, and just coaching, man. Just letting those kids know that he hadn't forgotten about them, even though they're not in the lineup.
Ron Washington, former Rangers manager, now coach with the Braves. Hughes goes down swinging. You use the word engaged, and I think that's apt. It's perfect. But the other part of that, the other side of the coin, is that his former players are still engaged with him.
Yes.
Walker Buehler's texting him. Walker Buehler's talking about pitching in the World Series and Corbs is flying out there to watch that, and all the other guys that keep tabs not just on the Vandy program but also their coach.
Well, the other thing is they really want them to come back. I mean, in the improvements that they did to the clubhouse and everything out beyond left field in Vanderbilt, there's an area that's solely intended for their pro guys to come back and work out. You engage your pro guys, have them come back, and they're around your current guys. I mean, that's the greatest. It's the greatest set of coaching you could have right there. Just osmosis from the big league guys coming back.
A couple guys like Dansby Swanson and Walker Buehler drafted on the same day, the day that Vanderbilt knocked off Illinois in the Super Regional to go on to Omaha. Remember, Dansby took the call on the field.
Yeah. Carson
David
Fulmer,
Price was at that game. Here's Giovanni DiGiacomo, 0 for 3 today. Let's hear from Dansby.
What's up, boys? This is Dan's. Just wanted to say good luck in Hoover. I'm always watching, always keeping up with y'all. I hope the best for y'all always, and I'm here for whatever y'all would need. Good luck. Go get it.
Braves playing the Cardinals right now in St. Louis. They're going to get it. They're up 13-4 through 7.
Uh-oh.
Wow, that was way off the tee. He stripes it to right and into the pen. Uh-oh, wow. Duplantis sprinting towards the track. Watson is there. Neither one can find it. Uh-oh. Wow. Lifted to right. Duplantis towards the fence. It's gone. Vandy's blown it open. Vanderbilt on a roll here, up 13-4, top of the 8th inning, and they're doing it in front of another big crowd. 12,872 came through the turnstiles for the semifinal today. Philip Clark retired 4-3. That means that with still one game remaining, the championship game tomorrow, we've already set a total attendance record, 152,212. Still one more.
Wow.
Do you remember one that didn't have any type of weather delay?
No, I do not.
Don't. I think we're good tomorrow, too, aren't we? Hold, please. I'm going to answer my own question. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
1% chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. We had everything last year. We're just shy of locusts. We had fog.
We did. That was wild, huh?
And that meant we had 2+ games on Friday of last year, right? In fact, last couple of years we've had more than 2 games, 3 games on Friday. Riggs Threadgill found that one right between the legs of Ryan Moorhead.
So you think LSU should feel pretty good about their hosting chances?
I think they host, yeah. I do. I think they host. I think if we win today, there's zero discussion about it, but I do think they host.
It's going to be interesting to see where the committee goes with the back end of that discussion, both the hosting discussion and the at-large discussion. So many teams specifically from this league that are in the middle of that, right? A&M and LSU, and who knows? Ole Miss wins this thing tomorrow. I mean, that gets pretty interesting. You're talking about a team that started with 16 conference wins. If they win 5 games here and go to Selection Monday with 21 conference wins, that's a pretty big number. But you got LSU, you got A&M, and then, of course, on the bubble, Missouri, Florida. I think we all feel pretty good about Auburn and Tennessee getting in.
I do, yeah, without a doubt.
Bianco will take it to the bag. 2 down. Here's what D1 Baseball projects.
What'll be real
3,
interesting
4, 5.
if you're an LSU fan, right? You could be lined up with. If you're 15, you're lined up with
UCLA, Vanderbilt, and
if
Mississippi
you're 16,
State.
you're lined up with UCLA.
You're 14, you're with State.
So
I would think it's going to be one of those 3.
that would be an interesting question, right? Which, if you gave them a choice, you think they'd rather be lined up with an SEC school, or they'd rather go out to UCLA? Take a look at 9 through 16.
That's a great question. Well, I can guarantee you this. If they're lined up with Mississippi State versus UCLA, if that's their choice, the atmosphere would be a little bit different at Jackie Robinson Park than it's going to be at the new Dude.
That is safe to say. Yes. The new Dude is going to be rocking. If they host a, I mean, it's going to be next year too, or next week too. But if State hosts a stupid, that place is going to be crazy.
What'd you say?
Yes. I'm in a stupor.
Hashtag same. So here's what the projected seeds are as of now. It would be it'll be quite the show in Starkville, regardless of who they would host in a super regional. But could you imagine if it were LSU?
Oh, it'd be crazy. You imagine Florida going to Coral Gables as a 3? Miami host? I don't know that they will right now, but
I don't think Miami would be too happy about that with the recent history of those two programs. But, you know, I think Florida would – they don't care where they go. They just want to be in. The way they finished the season, I think they made it very interesting on the committee. They got so many quality wins.
They had a great run against ACC teams. So as of now, UC Irvine, Missouri, Southern Miss, Liberty, Arizona on the outside looking in.
Southern Miss and Liberty are still playing.
Southern Miss got a no-hitter today to put them into the CUSA championship.
Liberty beat Stetson. I think they got to beat them again tomorrow to get in.
Stetson's pitcher threw 134 pitches yesterday. Dropped inside the line. DeMarco at third. He will stop there, and behind him, Ty Duvall pulls into second with 2 down. So what's going on in the state of Florida?
I mean, Florida took 2 out of 3 from Miami. Swept Florida State. They were all midweek games, but still swept Florida State. Canes took 2 out of 3 from the Noles this year. Strength of schedule 3.
That's pretty loud right there. That 3.
You didn't intend to spotlight it that way, but it still looked kind of cool. Well, you got to read the screen before you start touching things, but that looked kind of cool.
You put a
I think Florida's in.
Just spotlight that strength of schedule there, KP. Number 3. I think so long as nothing crazy happens tomorrow, I think Florida and Missouri both have a pretty good shot at it. And I just think you got to put Florida ahead of Missouri in the pecking order.
Let's work on this.
Ooh, well
That's
done.
what you look at right there.
Yeah.
That's what you look at right there.
You are something else.
That's also how you tell a straight.
Well done, Kyle. You're over there.
Thank you, Chris.
Hoarding the pointer.
You must have had picture pages as a kid.
Lots of fun with pens and with pencils.
Berkey doesn't know he was playing with rocks in the dirt instead of reading books. Vandy had a chance to take it back to a double-digit lead again. Instead, Harrison Ray strikes out. We play on to the bottom of the 8th. You want to go home hungry? You come over to the SEC tournament. A couple shots of the fantastic food being served both inside and outside the stadium.
Brain freeze.
Get it. There's nothing wrong with Dippin' Dots.
No, it's timeless.
I thought that was somebody else. It was actually a different shot of the same guy eating Dippin' Dots.
Getting a lot of TV time.
Antoine Duplantis is a home run and a single away from the cycle.
We'll need a big finish to this game, Tom.
Yep. I guess brother Mondo's getting ready for the NCAA track and field. Got regionals before they move on to the national championship. Did you ever try pole vaulting?
No, but every time I watch the clips of Mondo, I would think, how fun would that be to just give it one run? I mean, I'm pretty sure it would end really bad, but
sounds like a blast.
I'd like to try it once. UKP, I can see you on a pole vault.
Me?
Yeah. Speed, lightweight, explosiveness.
I mean, the reality is I'm built for it.
Right.
And so it would make sense just given my natural athletic ability, but I don't think I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I could see you running down the runway carrying a telephone pole. This is what happened on May 11th in Fayetteville. Antoine,
we saw that one.
Big swing. And Mondo.
Wild.
That set the NCAA record, didn't it?
Did you see the bend on that thing?
That is wild.
I think that's what they officially call it, the bend.
They do. That swing may be the reason that LSU's got a chance to host.
It's a big game they won. Right.
I mean, they lost the first two. They're down. Was that the 7th or the 8th? Eighth. 3-run home run. They win 3-2. Antoine now just 3 hits away from Dr. Eddie Furness and the all-time LSU hit record.
How cool would that be if they're hosting a regional, he breaks the record at home. It could easily be in that 1-0 game, too. They win the first one, he gets a couple hits. That would be a special moment.
Three home runs for Drew Bianco, including one against his dad's team. How'd you like the bat flip after the Bianco home run?
I thought it was pretty interesting considering all the circumstances, but I kind of giggled at his post-game answer, which is, what did he say? I pimp all my home runs? I think that was his quote. So no offense to Ole Miss. But definitely a young man that looks pretty comfortable hitting a home run, and I really think he's going to have a memorable career in Baton Rouge. He just looks the part, and I know it's been a rough start to his career, but once they figure out where he's going to play.
Well, yeah, but I also think the swings have looked way different the last 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, he's starting to feel more comfortable. There's some juice in there.
Plenty.
This is what he did against his dad's team.
Drew Bianco hits one way back. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye on his father's 52nd birthday. Drew Bianco, what a moment for Papa and son Bianco.
Rollins is a national treasure, by the way.
Is.
Pucker up and kiss it goodbye.
Pucker up.
Hey, Pops. No hard feelings, right?
It's a big old boy right there.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Bianco got a couple sons playing major Division I baseball. He's got another son at University of Louisville. Interesting the path they've chosen, that they decided to go elsewhere. One playing for his former assistant, Dan McDonald, one playing at his alma mater at LSU.
It was cool talking to Mike about that this year because he said, you know what, I don't regret that for 1 minute. Let him go somewhere else and play. I mean, maybe for 1 minute when his kid hit the home run against him. But other than that, the decision sounds like it's been good for everybody involved.
Two 2-1 pitch. Would you want to coach your son at the collegiate level?
I would. And he and I had that conversation.
Your son and you? Or you and
me and Mike?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And obviously I'm certainly not in that position. But I would have a hard time letting him go. But it's pretty cool to see how the reasons behind why he wanted to and how he's done it with now both of his older. There's a few left in the pipeline, too.
Cabrera can't find the breaking ball. Second strikeout.
How about you?
You know, I would want to, and I don't think it would be best. So I've caddied for my son a few times here in the last few weeks, and we've had a few very direct discussions. Dropped his bag in the middle of the fairway a few weeks ago.
Walked off on him?
Walked off on him. I mean, you love it as a dad just because of the time that you get around him, but I also think that the message so often is delivered differently from somebody other than dad.
Well, some of the things I didn't even think about, like Coach Bianco was talking about just the locker room dynamics and some of the things, some of the tough decisions that have to be made with his peers and some of the team decisions about playing time or disciplinary issues, and that can become pretty complicated for the player within the locker room. And, you know, it's one thing when guys are sitting around barking about coach. It's another thing when guys are sitting around barking about dad.
Yep.
That was just a perspective I hadn't really thought about, but makes a lot of sense. Because let's be honest, players bark about their coaches, and sometimes you need a safe space just to kind of vent about however it is you feel like you're being coached. And not always is that healthy, but it puts the player in an awkward situation if it's your dad.
You know, Kelvin Sampson's son played for him basketball at Houston, and he was telling me a story that son called him up one day in the middle of a tough season, and he said, Mom answered. He said, Mom, can you put Dad on? So she hands the phone over to Kelvin, and he said, hey, I need to make sure I'm talking to Dad. I'm not talking to Coach. Because it's sometimes you need Dad.
Right.
And he said, well, have you made all your free throws today?
Maybe you didn't hear me.
2-2 to Watson. It's going to say barring a major comeback, we'll see Vandy Ole Miss. But you remember what LSU did to Ole Miss in the bottom of the ninth?
Yeah. Push that one to extras.
3 straight long balls in the final game of that series. Runner goes to third. The throw is wide of the bag, and lucky that Martin was able to stay in front of it.
Drew Bianco getting a good secondary here and taking another risk. Really,
there's been a few risks on the base pass for LSU given the score. Duplantis with the triple. Josh Smith getting thrown out of second base. Bianco right there.
Nolan Cain's going to need some unwind time after this game. He's seen some guys do some things that I'm sure he wouldn't advise. Coaching third base, you want to give your kids the freedom to make their own decisions, but you got to trust them to make wise ones, and a lot of that is associated with what is the score.
Gavin Dugas trying to get his average above the Mendoza line. who wants it. Infante didn't see it at first and comes back to the field. So that'll close the 8th inning for LSU. They strand a pair. To the 9th we go. New tournament record in attendance here at the Hoover Met. Great catches in the seats, some headbutts in the dugouts, fresh paint, and Farkling. Best friends made when you're giving away free stuff. SEC tournament here in Hoover. 13-4. Vanderbilt in control. Set the stage for the championship game tomorrow. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. Vandy's homered 3 times tonight. And they had a run rule going until LSU pushed across 3 in the 6th. No quit in this Tiger team. So we'll play 9. New pitcher in the game for LSU. Rye Gunter. Went from Riggs to Rye. Brock Mathis has entered the game behind the plate. Julian Infante is 1 for 4.
We talked about Duplantis having a chance to become LSU's all-time hit leader. We're going to see Vanderbilt's all-time wins leader on the mound tomorrow. Patrick Raby will get a start, get a chance to maybe pitch his team to a tournament title, which would just be Tim Corbin's 2nd, even though he's been there 8 times, just the 1 title. You got to like their spot on the mound.
Yeah, it's definitely advantage Vanderbilt on the mound tomorrow. Ole Miss has had to play 2 more games to get to that point. One on Tuesday, then lost one, had to play their way back into the final, trying to win back-to-back titles for Mike Bianco.
Now, that being said, Ole Miss really battled 2 of the best arms in the league today. I mean,
yes,
they hung in there off Hancock and then made Losi pay for some mistakes. So, you know, it will not be smooth sailing for Raby against Ole Miss offense that looks like it's starting to find a rhythm.
Pitcher will finish off the strikeout. It'll be Ole Miss's 6th tournament finals appearance. They're 3-2. Vandy's 10th. They're just 2-8.
Was that a whiff? That was a whiff.
Oh no, it was a whiff, but it hit Ryan Moorhead right in the arm. I couldn't tell what it hit.
Looked like it hit him in the forearm.
Oh man, you make it to the 9th without wearing one. You're almost home. And take like 92 right on the forearm. That one hurts.
Brock Mathis will buy him some time. So Ole Miss and Vandy tomorrow. Does Ole Miss have a chance to earn the right to host with a win tomorrow?
I still don't think they do. I mean, I don't know. If you roll through Georgia, who's top 8, you roll through Vanderbilt, who's top 8 on the way, they definitely get into the discussion. It feels like it just may be a little bit too late.
Well, I mean, the projections we showed earlier was D1 had Texas A&M as number 16. So you're talking about an Ole Miss team that swept A&M, then beat them here in Hoover.
Fair enough.
And then now and has more conference wins now. Because they came in both with 16, right?
Yeah, A&M was 16, 13, and 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be tough to award A&M a host site and not Ole Miss if they win tomorrow.
So who's to say that host site would come from A&M versus one of the other last few hosts? You're just comparing apples to apples because it's easiest?
I'm going off D1. I'm going off those guys because their track record says they're pretty dialed in on those things. And you got to wonder if Ole Miss's run here is making them reconsider.
6-3 put out to retire Austin Martin. So what has Ole Miss accomplished so far this season? And how does that resume match up? Made it to the championship game after a late season turnaround. They had quite the swoon being swept by their rivals. And nobody was happy in Solo Cup land after that happened.
You're talking about a series win at Arkansas, right? A series win at LSU. A series sweep of A&M, and now a run to the SEC championship game. That's a pretty good resume.
There's some loud wins there. You're right. What was a little bit light going in was the RPI. I think the RPI was low 20s going into this game, which clearly is going to get better right here.
It's 25 to start the day, I believe.
So we talked earlier about having the chance to grow the game. The phrase we're using with West Virginia chance to host. They have a top 15 RPI. But who would you give it to? Ole Miss with a tournament championship or West Virginia?
I think it also depends on how the Big 12 tournament ends too. West Virginia's still playing last I checked, aren't they? Don't worry, I'll find it.
Sure you will.
Yeah, they've got Texas Tech right now. And then Oklahoma State and TCU will play the final game of the night, and it'll be a late night in Oklahoma City.
So LSU,
Texas Tech beat West Virginia earlier today, and then they're scoreless in the first inning of their second game.
LSU with 4 wins here gets to 21 conference wins, correct?
Sure.
Yes.
Ole Miss with a win tomorrow would get to 21 conference wins.
Correct.
And have the head-to-head on the road against LSU. Could be both.
You're starting to make some decent arguments, Bert.
Okay. But it feels like Ole Miss has jumped A&M. If both of them are in conversation, it'd be hard to. I know A&M's RPI is better, but 4 wins against them is pretty loud.
Not for nothing, but they do have an extra SEC loss.
True.
Midweek to Mississippi State, which is not reflected in the conference standings, but the committee does consider every game that you played against an SEC opponent or your conference opponent. Oh, 0-4 against State this year. Lost their final series of the regular season in Tennessee. And a 4-1 record here in Hoover this week.
So, what do you got? I mean, who would you take?
There's really no answer as of now.
Well, it's just a matter of opinion. That's a discussion.
Who would I take? Ole Miss, A&M, LSU, if you got to take 2?
Yeah, 2 of those 3.
I think they're getting one. I think LSU is going to get one of them. Ole Miss wins tomorrow. You're making a good argument. I mean, sweeping A&M, winning 2 out of 3 against LSU, and ultimately, when you figure in the conference tournament, having more wins than both of them, it's hard to not give them one.
Yeah,
their non-conference was fine. I mean, they get beat twice by Louisville. They lost to Mississippi State in the midweek game.
Ethan Paul 2 for 4 today.
A part of the reason their RPI is where it is, they bring in Long Beach State, which is supposed to be a good RPI weekend, and that backfired, right? And some of the things that the committee has said is intended schedule. I mean, that looks like a good non-conference schedule on paper.
Without a doubt.
It doesn't turn that way with the bottom falling out in Long Beach this year.
Vandy has put up 13 runs in this one. Ole Miss hasn't scored more than 5 runs in any of their last 12 games. Vandy scored what in this tournament? 30? $25. I was off. One-two pitch to Ethan Paul. Swing and a miss, so apply the tag for good measure. Last chance for LSU. 9 for the tie, 10 for the win. 13-4, Vandy leads LSU. It's been a wild ride for the Fighting Tigers here in Hoover. They're home away from home. They've won 12 SEC tournament titles, and it looked like they had some pixie dust helping them get to this point of this tournament. Paul Maneri, 38-9 in the SEC tournament.
Insane. 6 titles. Winning percentage through the roof. LSU, Skip Bertman and Paul Maneri own this tournament in their times.
How about Jim Wells?
Yeah, 6 out of 6.
Never lost a title game.
Skip Bertman, coaching tree member, Jim Wells. Mike Bianco as well, and he's showing the knack for finding it here in Hoover.
Wonder what he's going to tweet later. Let's check in with our umpire friends.
He said, I'm moving up. I said, you need to keep moving up. I said, when you move up, I move up.
Yeah.
I keep getting a look. So he did, but he forgot to tell me, won't you make it? Here I am.
Yeah, but, dude, there ain't no better place to be than here.
Huh?
There's no better place to be than here.
You've been the topic of a lot of conversations this week, Chris Burke.
I don't know what to make of it, Tom.
I appreciate what Daryl Arnold says. No better place to be than here. You've got great baseball, fantastic fans, and all the catchers smell like Victoria's Secret perfume. Were you part of that? Did you know that story?
He wasn't watching.
I heard you telling that story this morning.
Saul Garza sprays down his gear with Victoria's Secret Amber Romance. He doesn't use Febreze. He doesn't disinfect it in the sun. I learned last night that it's not uncommon for oil rig workers to use Victoria's Secret perfume. It keeps the gnats away.
Is that scientifically proven, or like what's our?
Oh, it's a home remedy for those who stay near malls. Saul said that he got it from the outfielders. They were being bothered by gnats, and so they put the perfume on. This one out of play to the right side. Have you? So you'd never heard of that either, huh?
No, I had not.
Daryl Arnold was so impressed. He said he wanted to get some for his girlfriend. It smelled so good. Doty lines one foul. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like this was a conversation actually happened on the field.
Can I laugh?
And yeah, you can. But so I was asking you before, like some of the weirdest conversations that happened. Who knew we'd have a catcher spraying down his gear with perfume?
Pretty weird.
Jacksonville State beat Morehead State. They won the Ohio Valley. Gamecocks going to their 5th NCAA tournament appearance, first since 2014.
What do you want me to say? It's weird. I'm with you.
Ethan Smith, freshman from Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Another guy coming in throwing 95. Trying to finish this one out. Ethan Smith, 41 strikeouts, 29 innings. You can see why. Mid-90s fastball, slider right there to get Doty swinging for the first out here of the night.
Hal Hughes pounds it to short. Ethan Paul. 2 down. We could use some perfume in the booth. Or at least a bar soap. Smith 1 for 4. Brock Mathis to the plate. Three o'clock Eastern, SEC championship game tomorrow following the ACC title game.
Where do you go tomorrow? You doing SEC studio stuff in Charlotte Monday?
Yeah, we'll be doing the SEC selection show on Monday, right after the big show.
That's 2 o'clock on the SEC network. SEC Now Road to Omaha. Looks like it'll be North Carolina and Georgia Tech playing for the ACC title. Tar Heels beat Boston College. Tech, which is in line to be a top 8 national seed, host at Russ Chandler Stadium in Atlanta, the Rusty C. They lead NC State 4-1 late.
You know who the hitting coach is at Georgia Tech, Berkey?
I bet you're about to tell me.
Is that a no?
That's a no.
James Ramsey. James Ramsey? Yeah.
From Florida State?
Yeah.
Really? One of the captains of the all-swag team.
Tell me more.
Oh, it was shin guard, elbow pad, TV tape, chain hanging out, Oakley's up to bat with eye black. Like
chain
it was.
You have chain hanging out?
I believe so. I mean, I'm just telling you. Like
he could hit.
He could really hit. First game I ever called for ESPN.
Really?
Florida State, Miami. We did a thing on him game 2 about all the pieces of swag he was rocking.
Giovanni DiGiacomo at the plate.
Did he get to the big leagues with the Cardinals?
I don't think he did. No, I saw him spring training last year with the Twins. He was still running around, but he's in a good spot now, and that'll do it. Vandy Ole Miss for the whole thing tomorrow. Pretty convincing fashion so far for the Commodores here in Hoover.
Kumar Rocker got the win. He's now 8-5. Devin Fontenot 5-2 with the loss. First SEC championship game appearance since 2015 for Vanderbilt. 13 runs on 13 hits.
Been the best team all season long in this league. The regular season champs have a chance to put an exclamation point on their season to this point with an SEC tournament championship. Awfully impressive so far in this tournament.